Cloudy, cool day, breezy here in Viera. Nats fans are psyched, and there are some Braves fans over from Disney. A couple of ball clubs that know each other very well. Chipper's not here, but most of the rest of the frontline Braves are. Bob and FP, welcome back to spring training. And a couple of weeks to go here, partner, and there are some concerns on the injury front, but some really exciting news on the pitching front.
Yeah, great news today. Davey Johnson named Steven Strasburg the opening day starter. I'll tell you what, he deserves it. When you think about what he went through down here in Melbourne last year in Viera, staying in camp, working, trying to get back. And the bottom line is this guy's a #1 starter. He's got #1 stuff, so he'll take the ball April 5th opening day in Chicago. You know, we can talk about Harper. He was optioned to AAA, went over there today to their minor league camp, and he's bouncing around trying to learn the center field position. And Bob, there's some injuries in camp that we're wondering if guys are going to answer the bell on opening day.
Yeah, Davey Johnson makes an interesting comment this morning saying they will not rush Michael Morse and Adam LaRoche for opening day. Possible they could not be ready for Chicago. We'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, on the mound, John Lannon. He's got to get some things going because it appears he's the 5 starter now.
Yeah, I talked to John today. If you remember his last start, he dovetailed off of Chen-Ming Wong. So he came in, didn't have his routine down. He played catch on the backfields. He said he hit the wall after 2 innings, but he's going to throw 75 to 85 pitches today. Obviously, he's starting, so he's got his routine down. And if you remember last year, John Lannon, lots of success against the Atlanta Braves.
It's been a week since the Nats have won a game down here, so they were so eager to get on the field, they jumped the gun on us. John Lannon has registered an out, and he faces Andrelton Simmons, the shortstop, after Michael Bourne, the leadoff man, went to Ian Desmond.
Ian Desmond with a great play right out of bed, going to his left. The speedy Michael Bourne.
And, of course, getting ground balls, John Lannon's forte. Andrelton Simmons. And here's John Lannon, who has a 7 ERA down here. Opponent's batting average of .378. It's his 3rd start, 4th appearance overall. But 3-1 with a .297 against the Braves last year.
And as we talked about in the open, you remember his last start. He came in after Chen-Ming Wong pitched, so he tried to treat it like a start. You go on the backfield, you do your long toss, you try to prepare as if you're the starting pitcher that day. But it's tough mentally to come into a ball game in the 4th inning. Remember the first 2 innings he was cruising, then he said he hit the wall in the 3rd, gave up some hits, but he's trying to gear up for opening day, getting ready for the season. And he said before he's coming to camp to where he's been locked in early and then he started getting tired in the middle of camp. This camp, he said, he's kind of progressing the way he wants to where he's starting to lock it in when it counts.
John had a couple of double play balls in that outing. Ended up pitching 4 innings. And he gets one in there that filled the count 3-2. With a high fastball, fouled away by Andrelton Simmons, 22-year-old from Curacao. Braves a second rounder just 2 years ago. And of course, one of his countrymen out in center field as Roger Bernardino starts for the Nats today. Desmond tested again. Not an easy play. That ball was sharply hit to his left. Braves are hitting only .242 this spring, but the next few names will be very familiar to you. Brian McCann, Dan Uggla, who homered off of Strasburg earlier in spring training. Freddie Freeman, Jason Hayward, all in there. Braves have scored 68 runs this spring, but they've given up 103. And Freddie Gonzalez told us this morning his ball club is getting healthy. He's feeling good about the group that he will go to war with 2 weeks from tomorrow.
I talked to Freddie before the game today. He said, hey, not a good record in spring training. Are you worried about it? He said, yeah, I want to win games down here, especially after the way we finished the season last year.
Yeah. And even Ryan Zimmerman can't reach that drive by Brian McCann. McCann, one of the great offensive catchers in baseball, and now we'll talk some Nats defense.
That's what we saw all too often last year from Brian McCann. The defense for the Nationals today behind John Lennon, Michaels, Bernardino, and Worth in the outfield, Desmond and Zimmerman on the left side, Espinoza and Tracy on the right side, Jesus Flores doing the catch. And Chad Tracy playing first base today. Going to get a big look-see from the manager, Davey Johnson, here the last third of spring training. He's going to play the next 4 days at first base, and with the injuries that are going on right now, he's got a good shot at making this team if he does something the last couple of weeks here in camp.
Yeah, with LaRoche, you'd figure Morse would be the first baseman, but with Michael injured, Mark DeRosa, Chad Tracy, right-handed, left-handed guys. A lot of questions now to be answered in the last 2 weeks. Here's Dan Uggla, who hit only .233 last year, but a heavy .233 with 36 home runs. This spring, hitting .294, and I noticed that he's been a little more selective at the plate. Spring training numbers don't mean that much, but he has struck out 8 times while walking 6.
When you got off to the start that he did last year, I would imagine spring training's numbers mean a lot to Dan Uggla.
Takes you all season to recover from a start like he had.
Yeah, playing uphill all year long. You remember he had that long 30-something game hitting streak just to get back to respectability, but the power numbers were there. The most home runs he's hit in his career last year as Atlanta Brave.
1 ball and 2 strikes. And Lannon tries to bury one down and in. Uggla, good take. So the Braves, as FP mentioned, not a great spring. They're 5-13. The Nats are 5-9. Freddie Freeman is next. And Washington has gone 0-6 and 1 tie in their last 7 games. Trying to get that inside corner at the knees, 3-2.
You talk about 5-13. The Braves are always in the mix every year, but when you have a record like that, I don't care who you are, it starts to weigh on your mind a little bit. You want to start playing well, especially with the season fast approaching. So for Freddie Gonzalez, he wants his team to lock it in right now.
With the runner going, Uggla into center. The wind's going to hold up balls out there today. And Bernardino will slide to make a very fine catch. Wind is coming in from left center. And now the Nats will take on Tommy Hanson. Well, Dad's alongside, a cool drink, some hot popcorn, and we are ready for the Nats to come up bottom of the first, hitting 257. In the spring, the Nationals have scored 67 runs, giving up 71. Ryan Zimmerman, every morning when he gets up, he's hitting way over 450. He's at 476 right now, 10 for 21. And maybe just as impressive, 7 of those 10 hits extra bases. Tommy Hanson, big kid out of that Atlanta system, 11-7 with a 3.60 ERA, but he only pitched 130 innings last year.
And a fastball, slider, curve change from Hanson. He's been working on his mechanics this year. If you remember last year, a little hitch in his release point, you know, and that would play with hitters' minds. It would throw off their timing a little bit. He had the shoulder problem last year. He's rehabbed from that. He said his last start 4 days ago was the first start he really didn't think about it. But you remember February 20th, he had that one-car accident where he had the concussion. So he's been working uphill all spring, trying to build up to his first start of the year. But all accounts, talking to the Braves people today, he's felt good recently.
Only 3 innings all spring. We'll see how long he goes here today. By the way, you might have noticed on the lineups, the pitchers at this stage of spring training now are hitters. National League games, they will bat ninth and get a couple of ABs here and there. Ian Desmond is 8 for 37 on the spring with 2 RBIs. Breaking ball that was hanging a bit. He hits it well. On another day, that would make it to the wall, but the wind's not quite the same today. And a good grab by Jason Hayward. That's a real good at bat, though, by Ian Desmond.
Yeah, good swing right there. Let's set the defense for the Braves today behind Tommy Hanson. Peraz, Bourne, and Hayward in the outfield. Simmons and Sutton on the left side. Ugla and Freeman on the right side. And Brian McCann doing the catching.
Well, Opie and I were talking during the break. He just flips that little base hit to left off Lannon. Who's a better batter from behind the plate over the last 10 years in the major leagues? Hard to find anybody better than Brian McCann. He is just outstanding.
I turned to you during the break and I said, partner, he can hit. It's just that simple.
Danny Espinosa, 8 for 31 this spring, hitting 258. Still looking for his first RBI. Well, FP, in your opinion, how concerned are the Nats about LaRoche and Morse? I mean, you're talking 2 guys right in the middle of your lineup.
I think there might be some concern about Michael Morse being able to answer the bell for opening day. Adam LaRoche's ankle has been bothering him, barking a little bit. He should be okay. I think there's a little more concern about the beast than there is about Adam LaRoche.
Well, good ball clubs have outstanding backups when things don't go right. Hopefully the Nats will be able to mix and match for a while. Espinosa puts a charge into that one, but again, the breeze is going to make the ballpark play a whole lot bigger today, and Michael Bourne will run that one down easily.
A pretty good swing right there from Danny Espinosa. Left field obviously closed today with the wind blowing straight in from left center, but that ball is hit. There's Michael Morse. Saw him working out the clubhouse earlier today. The issue has been the lats. We'll see if he can get that straight, because they obviously need 30-plus home runs and a 300 hitter.
Zimmerman has 21 at-bats this spring. He's only been struck out 3 times. 10 hits, 5 doubles, 2 home runs. And 3 walks to go against the 3 strikeouts.
Spring training for Ryan Zimmerman turns into high school varsity baseball every spring.
Pretty good pitch by Hanson. Surprised Ryan by getting the knees outside corner. Paul Nart has the plate today. Hunter Wendelstedt, Lance Barksdale, and Ed Hickox are on the bases, and they'll move around during the game. Breaking ball that Ryan just got a piece of, strike 2.
Yeah, no matter how locked in you are in spring training, and it's nice to be locked in, when you start opening day, it's a different animal, especially you're used to playing an 80-degree heat down here, you're used to playing day games, and all of a sudden it's opening day. It's a night game. If you head north to somewhere like Chicago, it's usually 35, 40 degrees. So besides it counting all of a sudden on opening day, there's a lot of variables that aren't there that were there for a long time in spring.
Front door breaking ball just missed, 2-2. Well, Michael Morse, a great example of that. just knocked the cover off the ball all spring. Couldn't buy a hit in April, and then all of a sudden, boom, he came alive. And stayed alive all year. 2-2 pitch. Zimmerman hits that ball to right center. Now the wind's going to blow that away from Bourne, but he's one of the few guys who can outrun a ball like that. The Nats have 3 great at-bats in the first and come up. John Lennon threw a couple of ground balls in the first inning, gave up a base hit to Brian McCann, and then got Dan Uggla on a ball hit well in the air. All right, we're teaming up with Bloomberg this year, FP, for some of our pitching and hitting scouting reports. So what does this pie chart tell us about John Lennon?
Well, the orange is the inflation in gas prices the last 4 months. No, the orange is the fastballs. You see his numbers against righties in 2011. Fastball 64%. You look at the difference in his stuff against lefties. Fastball 56%, slider 31, curveball 7. Doesn't throw too many changeups to lefties. Most lefties stay away from that pitch. So,
oh, yeah. And against a guy like Freddie Freeman, you don't want to hang one on the inside corner. 21 homers, 76 RBIs for the rookie last year, hit 282. I remember seeing him down here a year ago, and we just thought he was headed for great things. And the thing that we saw from him in spring training last year was great defense. He's a big, tall, rangy guy with lots of power at 6'5", 225, but he can pick it at first base.
And he's got a cannon, too.
Having a slow spring at 195 with 3 RBIs. That ball got in on his hands. It'll hang up for Jason Worth. John Lennon will face another lefty here in Jason Hayward. I think you're seeing now why Brian McCann, Freddie Freeman, Chipper Jones, and all those guys, Hayward, they needed a guy like Dan Uggla to come aboard last year. It's a very left-handed lineup, even though Chipper is a switch hitter. But in the middle, they needed some right-handed sock, and Uggla gave them that last year. Hayward, meanwhile, had a nightmare last year in his second full big league season.
This is a guy they need to have a good year for them if they're going to compete. You talk about how banged up they are with the pitching staff. Tim Hudson down. His first start looks like it's going to be around the first week of May. Freddie Gonzalez said Hudson on schedule. He's going to start probably the last start the Braves have down here in spring training.
Oh, that's a good fastball by Lennon. And the count 0-2 to Hayward, who's hit 2 homers, driven in 8. He batted only .227 last year with 14 long balls all year long. And we also saw there were some games in Atlanta when Freddie Gonzalez would take him out late for defense. But we know what this kid's capable of. And the 0-2. Hayward hit .277 his rookie year. with 18 homers and 72 RBIs in 2010.
And you saw the slider right there from John Lannon. That generally is out pitch to left-handers. He gets to 2 strikes, he'll start it over the heart of the plate, break it off the plate away. Got a lot of swing through strike threes with that pitch in 2011.
You saw the on-deck hitter, Jordan Perez, the left fielder, and a 2-2. Ground ball perfectly placed near the bag and a base hit for Hayward.
And just a well-placed chopper off the bat of Jason Hayward. Hit it right off the dirt in front of home plate. Got that big hop. And Danny Espinosa playing Hayward to pull all the way in the hole. Couldn't get to that ball. And Ian Desmond playing him straight up. No chance.
By the way, if you see a little wiggling taking place on our center field shot, extremely windy out in that part of this ballpark. And our camera guys do a great job of hanging in there out there under very difficult conditions. This is Jordan Perez, who's from Bryce Harper's neighborhood in Henderson, Nevada, south side of Vegas, signed by the Braves as a minor league free agent last November. Former Yankee minor leaguer. He's really bounced around to some different ball clubs in his career, drafted by the Phillies, did not sign, then Houston, Kansas City, Boston, and the Yanks for a while. (1-0) and look out over by the dugout. Perez hitting .417 this spring. He's 10 for 24. Best ball up.
And talking about Bryce Harper, went over to the minor league camp today for a couple hours with Doug Harris, the minor league director, and he was talking about how Bryce is come over there with a great attitude, bouncing around camp. They're gonna teach him center field quick style. Tony Tarasco, the outfield instructor over there, working with Bryce Harper, teach him all the nuances of a new position. But when you talk about Bryce playing center field, it kind of fits his personality. Yeah, kind of got that center field swag to him, and he's gone over there with a great attitude in minor league camp. Did a good job here in camp. And talk about him getting sent down the other day. His swing wasn't where he wanted it. We did a couple of games where we've kind of felt the same way, seeing his swing up here. But he said he's a slow starter at every level. No reason to start him here at the major league level. Send him down to Syracuse, let him see some good AAA pitching, get him locked in, and hopefully get called up sometime early in the season. But it was funny. We speculated early in camp about Bryce, wondering if a 19-year-old could handle being a major leaguer.
Yeah, that part of it went okay, didn't it?
That's the part that went real good. Guys in the clubhouse talking about how much he's matured in a year.
Mike Rizzo was really keen on that part of the whole thing.
But I think there's a lot more to it. And the part that I thought would be there in spring for Bryce, the swing, wasn't. But that doesn't mean he can't hit. That guy can rake. He's going to go down there and get it straight.
And a bouncer charged by Desmond. Espinosa for one. Well turned by the young middle infield, but Perez could beat it out. A very nice 6-4 fielder's choice. And for John Lannon, his third ground ball out. Don't forget about opening weekend. After the Nats go to Chicago and New York, Thursday, April 12th, 1:05. First 20,000 fans receive the opening day cap presented by Geico. On opening Friday night, first 15,000, a Natitude t-shirt from 106.7 The Fan. Then the Strasburg bobblehead presented by PNC at the 4:05 game. First 15,000 fans. That is on Saturday. Drew Sutton's been around for a while. We've seen him in the past with Cincinnati. A little bit of time with Cleveland. He was with the Red Sox, 31 games last year. 28-year-old infielder starting at third base for the Braves. Talked to Bruce Mano this morning, the outstanding Atlanta assistant to their GM Frank Wren. And Chipper Jones at this stage of his career just doesn't make long road trips like this. But they said Chipper's doing fine, feeling good over there in Disney. And the Nats and the Braves, of course, as always, will see plenty of each other. And the Nationals have played Atlanta as tough last couple of years, and over their short history, as tough as anybody in the National League East has.
And the guy right there, number 31, has pitched as tough as you could possibly pitch against the Atlanta Braves.
Yes, he has. Desmond, a busy day to his left to Espinoza, and that takes care of it. John Lannon doing his thing with the ground balls. Jason Worth hitting 286. His thing coming up straight ahead. On to the bottom of the second, Jason Worth, Chad Tracy, and Jason Michaels for the Nats. It's a scoreless game in the bottom of the second. And scoreless is a word associated a lot this spring with our buddy Gio Gonzalez, who joins us live. Gio, 6 1/3 innings so far, only a run on 3 hits. Opponents are only hitting 136. I hope you're not going to leave some of that good pitching down here and take it north to Chicago with you. Nice going so far this spring.
It's been going all right. I mean, it's trying to keep up with the rest of the rotation. These guys are on fire. Seeing these guys throw the ball half the time, it's just lights out. They're going out there, keeping the ball down, making the hitters put it in play, and that's what I'm trying to do, watch them and try to follow right behind them.
Did you, all the good staffs that I've been a part of as a player, it seemed like the pitchers competed within themselves. If one guy went out there and went 7 scoreless, the next guy wanted to go 8 scoreless. Do you guys have that going, or is it too early for that?
Well, you know what? The way you put it was perfect. When we go out there, we try really hard to compete against each other, but not in a way where we're trying to show each other up. We're out there trying to see if we can get the best out of each other here, especially in spring training. Where we can at least work on some stuff, but at the same time pick up on each other from what we're seeing.
Well, Gio, some news this morning that Steven Strasburg will go ahead and pitch opening day in Chicago. And then on Saturday, after the day off, you will get the call for Game 2, which means you could be in line for home opening day the following Thursday. What do those two things mean to you to be able to pitch so early in the rotation with a brand new ball club?
Well, I think it's great. I think Strasburg earned his stripes. I think he's definitely our number one here. After that, I was just happy to be in the rotation, especially with the guys we have now. Landon throwing great out here, especially Edwin Jackson, Zimmerman. It's just fun being a part of it right here. And I didn't mind where they put me. For them to say that I might be the home opener, in Washington, it's an honor. But at the same time, I know that if it came down to it, any of these guys deserve to be up there just as much.
Worth on a good rip, and the count's 2-2.
And Gio, talk about where you're at in your career and how you approach spring training, as a guy that has a little security now versus when you were younger with the A's just coming up.
Oh, wow. It's night and day, that's for sure. It's a little easier now. You could go out there and train and work on stuff that you really have to work on. It was tough back then where, you had to literally go out there with your A game every at-bat and every pitch. So, now signing with the Nationals was a great step for me to just take a load off and go out there and try to compete and do the best I can.
Yeah, we're showing you right now. You can't see it. We're showing you in the white cleats with the yellow jersey. The screen got very bright all of a sudden watching you in your A's unit throwing some fastballs by guys. But when you talk about spring training, obviously you're working your pitch count up, getting to the 100 pitch mark. Are you a guy that your last start in spring before the season, you want to extend yourself, or do you gear back a little bit, maybe only pitch 3 or 4 innings and be strong for that first start of the year?
Well, going back on that yellow jersey, that was our distraction. We definitely like to blind our hitters. If we couldn't do it with our arms, we did it with our jerseys.
You guys look like fluorescent Sharpies.
We definitely did a great job at that. But, no, absolutely. I'm the type of guy that I want to go longer in the innings. I want to go 7, 8 innings if I could, you know, with less pitches. I don't think 3 innings and gearing up to 80 pitches is a good thing. I think that the longer in the game, you know, and with less pitches, it's great to continue, especially going to the next game.
Hey, Gio, we know how soft-spoken and shy you are. If this inning ends real quickly, we're going to ask you to stay with us for one more half inning, okay?
Absolutely. I'd be more than happy to stay on.
I got a question for you. I don't know if anybody's asked you this since you've been here. What have you picked up from Steve McCatty, a guy like you who has the Oakland Athletics in his background and very knowledgeable? And I'll tell you what, let's handle that after the break if you will be so kind.
Absolutely.
All right. Gio Gonzalez on McCatty and other subjects. That was Worth, Tracy, and Michaels going in order in the second.
You were there.
John Lennon out for his 3rd inning of work. He has 4 ground ball outs. He's given up a couple of harmless singles. Gio Gonzalez is visiting with us. Now, Gio, last year Steve McCatty helps to lead a staff that was kind of an unsung staff to the 6th best ERA in the National League at 3.58. So his track record speaks for itself. What have you picked up from Cat so far since coming over here?
He's definitely the kind of coach that you want to go out there and have fun with. He lets you be you at the same time. He'll help you out if you're in kind of like a pickle or anything like that. He just keeps you real loose, and I think that's great, especially with the amount of pressure we got from some of the guys here and stuff. That he keeps it off balance, where he doesn't let you go out there and, hey, you know, you got to go out there and pitch like this. You got to make sure. He just tells you, go out there, pound the strike zone, get the hitters out, try to minimize the damage as much as possible. Stuff that's so basic, so simple, that he makes it seem that way all the time.
Now, when you were in Oakland, Ray Fosse had a big influence on your career. Ray Fosse, the color analyst for the A's, Glenn Kuiper, the play-by-play guy. Wonderful duo out there. Talk about what Ray Fosse did for you in your early days as a player in Oakland.
Well, when I got called up in August, it was my first year up there, and it was funny because, you know, I was getting hit around a little bit. I didn't know how to, like, locate my fastball. It was just everything wanted to strike everyone out, but it got to a point where he was, you know, always in my ring telling me, bro, I've caught 3 20-game winners, and you know, I see one in you. You know, every time I see you pitch, it just reminds me of, you know, of the guys I used to catch back in the days. And when he said that, I mean, I was at my lowest too, because when I was getting hit around, I just had no confidence, and he would come in there and pick me up every time. And it's a great thing because it's a catcher, you know what I mean? It gets along just right with the starting pitcher, especially when when you know your guy's down and out, you always need that one person to lift your spirits up, and he was always that guy for me.
Well, you're not going to get that from me this year. I'll just tell you. I'm going to probably ask you where the barber is because I need a haircut.
Tommy Henson's foul ball out of play. Hey, Gio, you will be starting down in Jupiter tomorrow against St. Louis. Will this be your first time in a ball game swinging the bat? And aside from the hitting, how long would you hope to go pitching-wise in a game like that tomorrow?
Well, definitely first time in a spring training game that I would be doing that. And then the second part was, let's see if I can go 5, 6, hopefully get out of there and lay the bunt down. Obviously, for my swinging, I'm going to be doing a lot of bunting this year. A lot.
And how's that going? I mean, that's all you need to do, really.
Well, let me tell you, I live in the batting cages due to my swinging.
So it's not going to be pretty, in other words?
At all, at all. We'll just definitely going to be a #1 bunter in all of baseball right now.
Well, I can't remember the number per se right offhand, but I remember John Lannon went a long time into the season last year before he got his first hit.
You can't call Lannon out like that.
No, we used to make fun of him every day. Like dude, you got to check in.
Yeah,
like you're 0 for 40. Like you need a hit.
That wasn't his first hit a home run in L.A.?
He went deep.
Then he goes deep at Dodger Stadium.
Definitely no pressure. No pressure here.
Hey, Gio, I don't want to tell you that broadcasting is fickle or anything, but FP went from getting him on no hits to calling him long ball Lannon.
Oh my!
You know, so we never change our minds.
We're front runners.
Now here's a guy who can bunt, Michael Bourne. Tracy to Espinosa. Danny with the bare hand, and he tried to scrape the bag on the way by, and that's the kind of pressure speed can put on a ball club.
Well, that's some athleticism by Danny Espinosa. On that play, you usually don't see the second baseman come over to cover on a bunt to the first baseman. You see the speed of Michael Bourne. He's flying down the line. All of a sudden, Chad Tracy doesn't know what to do with it, and Espinosa was there. We're showing the replay, Gio. He just missed the bag with his right foot.
That's exactly how I'm going to start doing it. Right there. I'm going to start bunting like that.
There you go. Can you run like Michael Bourne?
Absolutely not. Like carrying a piano on my back.
Hey, Gio, we really appreciate your time, buddy. You've been delightful for us to have you on the ball club so far. Good luck tomorrow down in Jupiter, and we'll be looking for you in Chicago for that day game on Saturday.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, buddy. Indicative of the kind of character and personality Mike Rizzo is building on this ball club. Gio Gonzalez.
I can't help it if you don't like that guy. I mean, his personality is just infectious.
Yeah.
You walk into the clubhouse, he's the first guy to come up to you and give you a hug. I mean, talk about a good personality to have on this ball club. Throw all the other stuff out. He's a fine pitcher. We all know about that, but just a perfect fit for the Washington Nationals.
Andrelton Simmons, the hitter, bounced out to Desmond first time. This one in the air that'll back up Jason Worth. This is playing like much more of the normal ballpark today with that wind coming in. On a typical day here, that ball is up against the wall, maybe even out of here. And that's the second out with Brian McCann coming up.
But if I know Gio Gonzalez like I think I do, I covered him in Oakland in 2009. If he's saying that he's in the cage that much and he's working on it that much, he's going to be able to hit. He's going to be just fine. And you could tell that he has pride in it. You know, a lot of pitchers really don't care, to be honest with you, how they perform at the plate. If they can get a bunt down, they can get a butt down. But, you know, looking at the organization that the Nationals are playing today, if you remember back in the 90s, every single one of those guys, Glavine, Maddox, Smoltz, when they came to the plate, they knew that they could help themselves, number one, win a baseball game, and number two, stay in the game longer if they could help their team at the plate.
Real running situation here. Now, the Braves this spring have stolen 7 bases, been caught 11 times. Michael Bourne has not attempted a stolen base in a ball game in Florida so far. Good lead, not a huge lead as Tracy holds him. Lannon comes home and drops in that slider on McCann, who took him the other way for a base hit first time up.
Now, you talk about the last third of spring training. Freddie Gonzalez said, first third, you know, we're just getting our feet wet. We're working on seeing the baseball. The middle third, the middle 10 games, I'm going to start putting some hit and runs on, some steals. But the last third of camp, and Davey Johnson said the same thing today, it's time to lock it in and play these games like they're real games. So you just kind of transfer into the season to where you're playing 4 at-bats, you're playing 9 innings in the field. You're going to do the things you do during the season. In Michael Bourne's case, there's no way if I'm him, I'm going to steal bases early in camp. I'm not going to get beat up the first week of March to where I have to play a 6-month campaign, but I need to get my rhythm over there. I need to work on things. So the last part of camp, I'm going to start ripping some bags. I'm going to work on getting good jumps and do the things that I'm going to do in the season, because You can't just flip a switch and all of a sudden April 5th go, I'm going to steal bases now. You got to work on it a little bit, but you work on it late in camp so that you have that rhythm, have that groove going into the season. 2 balls and a strike to McCann. That ball is ripped into the right field corner, and the wind will help it hook foul. He can hit. 2-2. That's our new scouting report, ladies and gentlemen. He can hit. We put all of our scientific formulas together on Brian McCann, and it spit out 3 words. I went on Bloomberg Sports today, and it just said, he can hit. It was that simple. Didn't have any pie charts, graphs. Look at that swing. I mean, that's just perfect balance. His pie chart is the whole field, by the way. Yeah. 270 last year, 24 homers, 71 RBIs. And they have a very capable backup in veteran David Ross whenever McCann needs a day off. I'd say John Lennon would feel okay about that, retiring him the majority of the time, 25 out of 33 times. Going slider away right here. Runner going on a McCann take, ball 3, and Bourne walks into second with his first steal of the spring. And funny, nobody covering right there. There must have been a sign from Davey Johnson and Jesus Flores that if he goes, let him go. We're going to get the hitter right here with 2 strikes and 2 outs. Yeah. Ugla, the right-hander, on deck, so you'd love the inning to end here. And by the way, the Braves do have a good element of speed. Remember that young outfielder, Jose Constanza? He's with the ball club today. We could see him. That kid is probably faster than Michael Bourne. Probably doesn't know how to steal bases like Bourne does, but he can really fly. Now McCann, a high drive, hooking, and way out of here and out of play. That one went right over the right field foul pole that has the Kennedy Space Center logo on it. And that was fitting for the way that thing was launched. So we are not that far from Cape Canaveral here. Windy day. Breeze blowing straight in from left field. 3-2 again. McCann continues to rip. Great at bat for him. Nothing to show for it yet. See, if that's me hitting right now, I count all 3 of those as hits. Is it my personal statistics? Those are all knocks. Okay. I mean, they're close enough, right? I am 4 for 4 if I'm Brian McCann with 3 foul ball hits and a base hit my first time. Perennial all-star, clutch hitter. Lannon high with the breaking ball. First and second, 2 outs. Now things get a little tougher with Dan Ugla coming in. Lannon's first walk today. Dan Ugla hit the ball well out to left center first time, and then the wind killed it. Roger Bernardina had to come in and make a sliding catch. This is where, if you're John Lannon, you have to know the conditions. You know, Dan Ugla, pretty much a pull hitter. When he's going good, though, he'll hit the ball all over the place. Yeah. But the wind blowing straight in from left field, you bust him in here with a slider, a fastball. Let him hit the tar out of it. You know it's going nowhere. Although if one guy in the Braves lineup can turn around that wind, all that being said, yeah, it's the guy in the box right now. Lennon goes up and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. So Dan Ugla will go into the 2012 season with 190 career home runs in 6 years. I mean, they may be talking about this guy 10 years from now, if he stays healthy, from a power standpoint, with the greatest second baseman ever to play this game. Guys like Rogers Hornsby. Jeff Kent of the Giants and other ball clubs. I mean, Kent was invoking the name of Hornsby at the end of his career. Not sure if the wind can hold that one up. It's trying. It's trying. Good game. And right there is Jason Michaels. FP says the wind's going to kill it, and it did. Stock market prediction straight ahead.
Dan Uggla absolutely killed that ball, making a bid for his 5th spring training home run, but Mother Nature took care of this one.
We talked about it. Slider in, let him hit it as far as he wants to. The wind's going to hold it up. And you look at Jason Michaels going back to the track, find it. Watch the reaction from the Nationals dugout right here. There's Mark DeRosa laughing at him. Rick Ankiel telling him get in the weight room, and everybody having a good chuckle because we all know that ball was out of here. Even John Lannon having a laugh at it. Yeah, I'm saying, what am I supposed to do? The wind's blowing in 30 miles an hour. That's my best bolt.
Guys hollering warning track power at him. Here's Roger Bernardino. The Nats are still looking for their first base runner. Bottom 3 here. Bernardino hitting 7th today, batting .214. He's 6 for 28 down here.
And we used to call that dumb hitting.
Yeah. Smart pitching.
Smart pitching, dumb hitting. That ball was crushed.
Bernardino will fly one over that way. Now the wind's going to knock this down, and it'll require a slide, and Perez unable to hold on to it.
And see, that's one where the shortstop might have a better chance just because of the elements. You look at Simmons hustling over here. The ball's going to blow back to you. Obviously, Perez called him off, so that's why Simmons hit the break. But as a shortstop right there with the wind blowing the way it's blowing today, it's blowing from 3rd to 1st. That ball's going to come back right to him. If Simmons would have stuck with that, maybe been a little more vocal. But once an outfielder calls it, he did the right thing. You got to peel off. Outfielders have priority over infielders on pop-ups like that. But based on the wind and what we've seen so far in this game, Simmons could have made that play.
Roger Bernardino was already out around 2nd base, so it took him a while to get home, pick up the bat, and face a 1-1 count. He'll show bunt, take a fastball outside. That drew Sutton in from 3rd base, and a 2-1 count now. Well, the outfield situation getting a little more interesting every day regarding Michael Morse and his injury. So Bernardino, and Keel. You have Brett Carroll, who hits from the right side and has shown us what a good defensive outfielder he is this spring in this mix as well. Two-two pitch. Roger choked up a bit. We like seeing that. And a breaking ball that he takes low and inside.
Well, especially with a guy that has the speed of Roger Bernardino. Get way up on that bat, slap something to shortstop and beat it out. Put the ball in play on the ground with 2 strikes. He can get a lot of infield hits.
That's a nasty breaking ball from Tommy Hanson, who racks up his first strikeout. As we look ahead to the season, single game tickets are available now. You can ignite your natitude with Nationals tickets starting at just $10. Log on to nationals.com/tickets. Check it out.
And partner, from an infielder's viewpoint of that, if you know there's a guy from the left side like Roger Bernardino with that kind of heat, you're already kind of pressing on defense, telling yourself, I got to get rid of the ball. This guy can fly. So maybe you cheat in a little bit even because of the speed of a guy like Bernardino. But you're also putting added pressure on yourself as a defender, knowing that I have to be perfect with this ground ball. I can't even double pump. I can't double clutch. Everything's got to be perfect. So you're telling yourself that.
Jesus Flores sounded like he got hit. Glancing blow as it went by. And the number 8 hitter will give John Lannon a bunt possibility here by getting hit by that pitch. By the way, Flores is having a good spring. Jesus comes in at 9 for 25.
Excuse me, partner. Like you said, he's been absolutely locked in at the plate. And when you talk about having a good backup catcher, you know, in Jesus Flores' mind, he's not a backup. He feels like he can be an everyday guy, but he also realizes that Wilson Ramos, probably one of the better young catchers in baseball, and he'll be ready to play whenever Davey Johnson asks him.
Well, Jesus Flores was hitting .301 at the time he was hurt 2 years ago. Didn't play at all. 2010. Actually, almost 3 years ago now, May of '09 when he got hurt. That in squares. Lays off, run on that fastball, takes it outside.
And the trick for Jesus Flores is going to be when the Nats break camp and go north is to keep your swing locked in. You know, as a backup guy, you're getting all the at-bats, you're getting repetition in spring training, and all of a sudden, you know, and nobody knows this better than I do, you head north and you don't play for 5 or 6 days because you're a bench guy, you're a backup guy. And the trick is to keep yourself locked in, maybe stand in some bullpens, see velocity, and stay where you were in spring training.
What a good bunt by John Lannon. 1-4 on the sacrifice. Flores to second base and scoring position with 2 outs.
Well, let's check out the technique from John Lannon. Very good bunter, hand up on the bat. That was just perfect. For you kids at home, you know, nothing frustrates me more than when I go watch youth baseball and guys are jabbing at the ball, they're dropping the barrel head. You see how he got it out in front right there? And if you pretend that the bat head is like a glove and you're just going to catch the baseball like when you're playing catch, you don't jab at the ball when you play catch. You just let it hit your glove. And right there, great shot, guys, of him just catching the ball with the barrel of his bat.
Desmond had a good at bat first time up, lining out hard to right.
I can't tell you about how many games I go to where I see kids bunting and nobody's taught them the proper technique to bunt. You know, number one, for kids nowadays, it's not cool to bunt, so they don't really work on it. But it becomes an integral part of the game, especially on teams that are good. And you're facing a tough pitcher. You got to get guys over. You got to know how to do it. We talked about the Braves in the 90s, their pitchers doing it.
That's why one of my fun memories from last year was that game against Atlanta on a Saturday early when Ankiel hit a home run. A couple of at-bats later, he laid down a perfect sacrifice bunt, and he was dancing through the dugout after the bunt, having more fun than he did after the home run.
It's a part of the game that I think is lost. Base running at the major league level, you see a lot of that isn't as good as it could be in the short game. The manufacturing of runs.
2 balls and a strike to Desmond, who has 2 RBIs here in spring training. No score, bottom of the 3rd. Tommy Hanson and John Lannon hooking up well. They play Desmond over toward right center. A lot of room over shortstop and down the left field line, so it appears they're going to stay away from him. And it looked like Tommy Hanson just lost his release point there because that's not where McCann was set up inside. 3-1.
You see how they're positioned defensively. Michael Bourne playing Ian Desmond a little bit opposite. But that's where I'd be if I was a center fielder too, because anything in the left center field gap is going to blow back to Michael Bourne. So you leave that gap open, the ball will come back to you straight away center.
Fastball low, good AB by Desmond. And Danny Espinosa now has a 2-out chance.
Is that his first walk of the spring?
Second.
He's on fire.
Hey, take what the pitcher gives you, because you've got, even though it's the number 2 hitter, when you talk about Danny Espinosa and the guys behind him, Sirius Sock coming up in this lineup.
Well, let's check out Danny Espinosa's left-handed swing right now. We talked about the adjustments he's made here in camp, how he shortened things up. If you remember last year's, he had his hands a little bit higher, he had the big leg kick. So he's more of a timing guy left-handed. There's a little loop in his swing. He's been working on that. But watch how close he keeps his foot to the ground now. You see that? Just a little stride right there to where there's not a whole lot of movement. It's a lot more simple. And by being simple like that, you're going to be more consistent. It's not a high-maintenance swing where guys that generally have a leg kick, you know, they're either hitting 700 or 100. There's no real in-between. They're either locked in or they're searching. But you look at the approach for Espinosa right now. Hands right there, close to his helmet. No leg kick anymore, and the swing is much more compact.
Yeah, and he's got all the power he needs with that approach.
So as we say all those good things about Danny, let's watch him swing and miss.
Well, sometimes the other guy throws a pretty good hard breaking ball at you.
That was the case right there.
And Tommy Hanson, one of those guys, not afraid to challenge left-handed hitters with his breaking stuff. 2 on, 2 out. He'll look that one to the outside corner, so Hanson goes inside breaking ball, then fades one away and gets a strike with Ryan Zimmerman next.
And that's a pitch you don't want to offer at until you get to 2 strikes. But you know, for Danny Espinosa, hitting with 2 strikes is something you can work on down. Let's check out the 2-strike approach.
There's that breaking ball. That time he managed to get a piece of it. Jesus Flores at second, hit by a pitch with 1 out, sacrificed down to second by John Lannon. And then Ian Desmond, the 2-out walk. Danny Espinosa looking for his first spring training run batted in. And the count's even now, 2-2. Man, he was unbelievable in that first half. First full big league season, had been up only in September in 2010.
Well, he talked about it. He worked too hard last year. He said he worked himself right into a slump the second half. Bob, you remember, anytime we walk in the clubhouse, what did we see? Danny Espinosa sweating. I mean, he was either hitting in the cage too much or lifting. And he said he's going to take care of that this year and kind of gear down a little bit to where, as a hitter, you can work too hard. And what I mean by that is your bat becomes heavy. When you're in a slump or you're struggling a little bit, Felipe Alou always used to tell me, just don't do anything. Just show up to the yard and hit. And in Danny's case, he wanted to prove that he wasn't one of those rookies that was just styling and up here. He wanted to show the veteran guys that his work ethic and how hard he worked to get here. So he said, maybe I worked a little bit too hard last year.
3-2 with the runners going, and Danny slicing it straight back.
Now maybe a little more established, a little more comfortable up here to where, hey, I'm not going to get there at noon every day and hit for 2 hours in the cage and then come out for early ground balls. I mean, and I can feel that from him, because as a rookie, you don't want to show up for stretch. You want to be there early to show the guys that you're not Cadillacing, that you're working hard. And if you miss those things sometime as a young player, you're worried about what guys in the clubhouse are going to think about you.
3-2, runners on the move. Espinosa rips it, but Freddie Freeman at 6'5" is right over there to grab it. So the Nats still looking for their first base hit, and on to the middle innings. We go scoreless. Steven Strasburg, 5 scoreless innings against the Mets last night. This morning named the Nats opening day starter, and FP chatted with him, asking him if he maybe dreams about something like that as a young guy looking ahead.
Before that, I dream of winning a World Series, but it's a tremendous opportunity. It's a tremendous honor, and I said this before, and I'll say it again. We got not just me, but 4 other guys in the rotation that are very capable of taking the ball the first day. And that's what's so great about this organization, this rotation, that we're young and we got a lot of talent, and so now we just got to go out there and prove it.
Well, Strasburg gave up actually 5 innings, 1 run on 2 hits last night. 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, 85 pitches, 54 strikes. Might have had a longer outing had Daniel Murphy not had an 11-pitch at bat in the early part of that game, but he appears to be on stride.
Well, maybe some guys with bigger resumes, but when you talk about Steven Strasburg, the one thing that sticks in my mind is his last start last year against the Marlins. 5 innings, he struck out 10 guys, and he's got #1 stuff, and he deserves it. I mean, quite honestly, you want your ace out there, the guy with your best stuff. And that's that guy right there, and we're happy for him. We can't wait for April 5th, games that count. Steven Strasburg on the mound at Wrigley Field. How good is that?
Something he'll never forget. And hopefully us as well, based on the result. 1 ball, 2 strikes as Lannon operates to Freddie Freeman, leading off top of the 4th. That fastball running in on the big fella's hands.
And when you talk about Steven Strasburg, this really being his first major league camp, I asked him today, what have you learned down here? And I think for a young guy that has the power arm that Strasburg has, when times get tough and there's runners in scoring position, young guys want to throw harder. I mean, it's just natural. Every young pitcher I've ever seen, whether it's Lincecum, Kane, a guy like Steven Strasburg, when the going gets tough, you want to gear up. And I think with the veteran guys, the older guys, they realize that in those situations, maybe you pitch a little bit more. And what I mean by that is you go to your off speed, you try to hit a corner. You don't just try to power the ball by guys. And I think the one thing that Steven's learned down here in camp is that that's the case. Just make some pitches when the going gets tough.
Desmond drops it. And that will probably go as his 4th error of the spring. The Nats have now made 15. And that's how the 4th inning gets underway. John Lannon continues, though, to get some ground ball outs, or at least potential outs.
Funny that Ian Desmond booted this ball because he's made some nice plays going to his left today. I mean, he's made that play 3 times already. And I think he just let that ball get a little bit too close to him. You know, as a fielder, you can let the ball get deep to where you lose sight of it. You get your glove out in front, you see the ball go in the glove.
Hayward takes the fastball way upstairs. One more point on Strasburg, and FP going along exactly with what you said. He acknowledges that the last time he faced the Braves down here, he tried to be macho and throw a fastball by Dan Uggla, who hit it out of the ballpark. Last night, he had a more controlled approach, and you look up and he's got 5 really good quality innings. Learning how to pitch, even in spring training, things that will serve you well during the regular season.
And learning how to pitch at the highest level. And I don't think, you know, us included, partner, we can't forget how young this guy is. I think we have a tendency sometimes to feel like, you know, obviously he had the setback, but feel like, you know, he's been around for a long time just because he's so good. That this is a guy that's learning at the highest level. That's not an easy thing.
Two balls and a strike to Hayward, who bounced one up the middle for a base hit first time.
I think they got your rent-a-car.
That's my favorite sound effect here at the ballpark when somebody hits one that leaves the stadium. They have the honking car and the alarm going off over the PA. And there's always somebody who gets fooled by that.
The first time we were here in early March, we did our first game. I heard that and I actually thought it hit a car. Fish on.
3-2 now. And we'll see if Freddie Gonzalez does anything with the runner here with nobody out in a scoreless game, 4th inning. Freeman a short lead. Tracy holds him. Lannon takes a long look and delivers with the runner going, and a foul ball. And we mentioned Gio Gonzalez will go tomorrow down in Jupiter against St. Louis. Also scheduled to pitch tomorrow, Ross Detweiler, Ryan Matthews, Brad Lidge, and Henry Rodriguez. Then the Nats will go on the road for a 2nd consecutive day at Kissimmee against the Astros Friday behind Jordan Zimmerman. Then another road game over in Sarasota Saturday against the Orioles with Edwin Jackson. Bouncing ball, Tracy to the bag, and with the runner going, no chance for a throw to second base. 3 unassisted for the first out.
Pitch number 75 coming up right here for John Lannon. We talked before the game, he's going to go between 75 and 85 pitches, so it'll be interesting to see if he gets out of this. Does he pitch the 5th inning?
6 ground ball outs by John. And Jordan Perez, the hitter, hit one to Desmond for a 6-4 fielder's choice first time. So the Braves have a runner in scoring position for the 2nd time. High in the air. Wind will move it around a little bit, but Danny Espinosa drifting with it over toward the line for the 2nd out. Well, John Lannon pitching well. Drew Sutton, the number 8 hitter. And here's one of those situations like during the regular season that any pitcher needs to keep in mind. The pitcher is on deck. You love to get the number 8 hitter if you can. But if you fall behind, you just can't give in to him and throw the ball over the plate.
And I think if you went out there right now and asked John Lannon, you know, he's a little more settled in what he's going to do this year. Meaning, maybe his last couple of starts early in camp, you hear all the trade rumors. I don't care who you are, how long you've played, those affect you. And now that Chien-Ming Wang has strained his hamstring, and it looks like John Lannon might be the 5th guy, a little more relaxed now. Knows where he's going to be once the season starts, and I think when you have that peace of mind as a player, it can be nothing but good.
And I've heard you talking to guys in the dugout, in the clubhouse, on the field down here about that, because you've been there, done that. When you're one of those bubble guys, anytime you're on that bubble, I mean, every swing, every pitch is life and death.
Yeah, it's a nerve-wracking time in spring training. I was joking with Chad Tracy today. You know, he's one of those guys that's going to get a good look-see. And I said, hey, Chad, I never had a spring training where I wasn't in your shoes. I know exactly how you feel. Yeah. I was always that last guy wondering if I should pack for AAA or pack for the big league club. You know, sometimes you see all your guys shipping stuff up to Washington, D.C., and you don't know where to put your things or where to ship it.
Well, that's great for Lannon. Retires the number 8 hitter. 4 scoreless innings on 3 harmless hits. Lannon on his game today. Zimmerman coming up. Hey, Strasburg, number 37. You'll see it all over Nationals Park this year. And thankfully, Steven will be with us from the start of the season. Literally, opening day assignment in Chicago. When the guys are home, you can take advantage of a 5-game flex plan. Ignite your natitude with 4 games and a 5th one free, starting at just $60. Nationals.com/flex for all your ticket information for 2012. So Zimmerman, Worth, and Tracy for Washington, bottom 4. Tommy Hansen's been, if anything, just as good or a little bit better than John Lannon without giving up a hit. 1 walk, 1 hit batter, scoreless game after 3.5. Ryan hit the ball well on a ball caught in right center by Michael Bourne on the run, first time up. Hansen knows what a good hitter to right center Zimmerman is. So he'll drop one under his hands for a strike on the first one.
And like you said, you made a great point. Probably the only center fielder in baseball that could have got to that ball.
Yeah. And he tries to drop that big breaking ball in. It just stayed up and in. Whoa, way up and in. And a breaking ball hits Ryan. He's aboard. 4th inning underway. Well, things looking interesting out there now. How long before Michael Morse is able to play?
And you look at all the candidates right there. Obviously guys like Brett Carroll and Jason Michaels coming down to the nitty-gritty, but all of a sudden there's opportunity for some guys that maybe didn't have that opportunity before the Morse injury.
Yeah.
Let me talk about, late in camp. You never know if there's still any trades in the mix. A lot of times those trades go down right at the end of spring training. So, and there's the guy that'll pull the trigger on a trade that, if it presents itself and is good for the ball club, he'll go ahead and do. 2 words to describe that guy: not afraid.
Yeah. Bold moves, decisive moves, and very good ones for the Nats so far. Worth fly center first time up, a routine fly ball to short center field, and the breaking ball slipped by him. The count's even 1-1. Nats and the Braves will meet 4 times this spring. This is the 3rd meeting. They have split the first 2.
Country.
Nats still hunting that first base hit. Good eye by Worth on a hard-breaking ball. Left-handed hitting Chad Tracy on deck. Based on how long Lannon goes, other pitchers on the list for today: left-handers Sean Burnett and Atahualpa Severino, right-handers Chad Durbin, along with Tyler Clippard, and Ryan Perry. Worth on a late swing. First out here in the 4th. Strikeout number 2 for Tommy Hanson. Just in case you weren't with us when we signed on about an hour and 15 minutes ago, Michael Morse, as FB described it, that lat, the back injury, and then Adam LaRoche having a hard time running the bases these days.
And Davey Johnson a little more concerned with the guy on the left than the guy on the right.
And I think we saw early last year when Adam LaRoche has that mid on over on the right side, that is a wonderful defensive infield.
And that's no small thing. You know, as an infielder, when you got a guy over there that can pick it, you can pretty much just close your eyes and chuck it to first, and you know if it's in the dirt or up the line, the guy's going to handle it. Generally, more times than not, you hit him right between the eyes because you're not worried about it. When you got a guy in the back end playing first base that can't feel this position, and you know he's not going to pick you, that's when you get a little bit tight out there and make bad throws.
One ball and 1 strike to Tracy. And then Michael Morse ended up over there and did a very good job. He's no Adam LaRoche defensively, but Michael picked things up in a hurry over there.
Yeah, crazy how good he was defensively at first base, something that nobody expected. Good athlete, right? Shortstop coming up with the Mariners, but you know, first base is a whole different animal, and he was solid over there.
Nationals have had 3 base runners the last 2 innings without getting a hit. Hanson keeps trying to find the right spot for that breaking ball. He's been leaving it up and to that side of the plate. Counts 2-1. And some power pitchers will throw a lot of fastballs early in the spring. Make sure they build up their arm strength and get ready before they start snapping off a whole lot of breaking balls. Looked like a changeup, and Tracy stayed with it. The Nationals have their first base hit. 2 on, 1 out.
And that feels so good for Chad Tracy. Every at-bat, as we've said already during the broadcast, is so big for him. So when you go up there and barrel up a ball, right now he's on the team. And before, in his mind, when he grounded out to second, he wasn't on the team. And that's what he's going to go through the rest of camp.
In a matter of seconds.
Yep. I didn't make the team. I just made the team. But I think as a player, you can't really think about things like that. You got to control what you can control. And the only thing is having quality at bats. It's not even about the stats. It's about Mike Rizzo sitting down there, Davey Johnson sitting down there, watching your approach at the plate. And if you're getting the barrel on the baseball, you're having good at-bats, well, that's all you can do. That's all you can control. Like I always say, you can't steer the ball off your bat.
And, of course, Tracy, a left-handed batter. Every manager wants a live lefty bat coming off the bench, whereas Michaels is a right-hander, Carroll's a right-hander. And then you have the possibility of Steve Lombardozzi, the young man who's a switch hitter. You can hand him any glove and have him help you late in the ball game around the infield.
No, and the outfield too, partner. I talked to Lombardozzi today. He's been working out with the big glove out in the outfield the last couple of days.
McCann kind of came up as if he was going to make a throw, and the ball got away from him. We'll see how they rule it with Zimmerman to third and Tracy to second base.
And check it out one more time. Sure-handed Brian McCann. Looking like a little pickoff play on at first base with Freddie Freeman. Him trying to sneak behind Ryan Zimmerman. They had a play on. He just peeked up a little too soon, and the ball got by him.
I just got the signal from the press box. Pass ball. Oh, they're going to say wild pitch now? I think it's pass ball.
That's a pass ball.
Guy held up 2, and that means catcher. We have hand signals for spring training. Not quite the technology for the regular season down here.
Yeah, obviously not working very well.
Well, I was okay until Craig Heiss said wild pitch, and I'm like, no, that's pass ball. We'll see.
I'm looking right now. They're using smoke signals down there.
Well, we are playing the Braves. 2 balls and a strike to Michaels. Atlanta 5-13 on the spring, and the Nats are 5-9. Some teams play more split squad games than others. And Michaels will swing through it. The count's even 2-2.
And we talk about a guy like Jason Michaels trying to make the ball club. This is a great situation for him to hit in. Freddie Gonzalez has his infield back, tie ball game, bottom of the 4th. So with 2 strikes right here, Michaels just looking to hit a ground ball to short, put the ball in play, and the Nats will take the lead 1-0.
Michaels 4 RBIs on 7 hits this spring. He's made them count. Good take on the breaking ball, and the count goes full.
You see the approach right there. Spread out a little bit, no stride, choking up on the bat, just thinking, hey, man, 15 hopper to second base, and we're ahead.
Left-handed Roger Bernardina on deck for the Nats. There's that little hopper over to second base.
That's a great AB right there.
Santangelo the Magnificent, predicting everything happening in this ball game today.
Well, I mean, that's the way
you baseball, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a professional hitter right there. You see the high fives, well deserved for Jason Michaels' 2-strike approach. You know, he made it look easy, but as we've seen, putting the ball in play with 2 strikes is not a gimme, especially against a guy like Tommy Hanson. So look at no stride right there. Basically spreading out and playing pepper. I mean, guys don't play pepper anymore. But that's what Jason Michaels did right there, and it even got Davey Johnson up off his chair to go down and shake his hand. That's a great at-bat. That's how you make a ball club. Little things like that to help a team win off the bench.
Yeah, sometimes you guide it over there and it goes through for a base hit. If not, you still have a run.
That's why I said, partner, it's not always about stats or how many doubles a guy has.
Yeah.
You know, when you have a bench guy filling in, you just want him to do the little things right. You know, make the plays, move guys over, get a bunt down. You know, 2-strike approach, hit a 15-hopper to second base for an RBI to put your club ahead 1-0. Those are the things you do to make ball clubs.
Bernardina takes a good breaking ball, and it's even from Tommy Hanson in his 4th inning of work.
So right now, in Jason Michaels' mind, he's on the team. First at-bat, nope. Fly ball to right.
Notice that last year on a 2-strike count, Roger got a steady diet of off-speed breaking stuff from lefties and from right-handers. He's going to have to learn how to gear it down. Now, let's see if he goes up the knob again like he did last time up. We saw him choke up last time. Will he do it again?
I would love to see Roger Bernardina do exactly what Jason Michaels just did in any situation. Spread out, choke up, and slap something to short and see if he can beat it out with 2 strikes.
Well, and if he hits a 45-footer somewhere, who's going to throw him out?
with his speed, an infield hit is like a double because he can steal second the first couple of pitches.
Tracy at third, 2 outs, and Nats have scored a run to take the lead here. Bernardina jacks one to center. Bourne is going back. That's a graveyard out there for fly balls today. Nats pick up an unearned run after the pass ball. Michaels the RBI. And the Nats on top by 1. Here's our game summary. The Nats have been out hit 3-1 by the Atlanta Braves, but the opportunistic Michaels with the ground ball. Story of the game, though, right now, FP, 4 shutout innings by John Lannon, who's done for the day.
Yeah, nice day for the left-hander. You see John Lannon today in his routine, in his groove. He didn't have to come in relief, and you see the result. 6 ground ball outs. Nice play right there to start things off from Ian Desmond. And anytime the infield's getting a lot of action behind John Lannon, you know he's got his good stuff. So a nice day for the left-hander. Take that one and build on it as he gets close to starting the season up north.
So he will lead to Chad Durbin. Lannon 4 innings, 3 hits, no runs, a walk, a couple of strikeouts, and 6 ground ball outs. Chad Durbin takes over for the Nats here. And we think it's a double switch because now that the pitchers are hitting, Davey Johnson can do some things with his lineup. Steve Lombardozzi takes over for Jason Michaels in left. So the pitcher, and we'll know this next half inning, should be hitting 6th and Lombardozzi 9th.
Lots of cutters from Chad Durbin. Fastball, cutter, curveball change. He'll throw that cutter about half the time. There's one right there.
Nats also have Ankiel, Carroll, DeRosa, Maldonado, Ramos, and Blanco available on the bench today, according to the lineup card this morning. Fastball is upstairs, 2-0. Luis Durango batting for Tommy Hanson. So Hanson's done after 4. Non-roster guy. We've seen him in the big leagues a time or two before. I think with San Diego. He'll slap it right side, and waiting for it is Danny Espinosa. So Hanson will go 4 innings, give up only 1 hit, 1 unearned run. Tommy Hanson struck out 2, like John Lannon, walked 1, hit 2 batters.
Encouraging sign for Freddie Gonzalez and the Braves. A nice outing by Tommy Hanson. Jair Jurgens got roughed up yesterday. He's been getting roughed up all spring, so a lot of concern with the Braves staff and their health.
And not to mention, as you mentioned earlier, Tim Hudson out what appears to be at least the first month. In the air left field off the bat of Bourne. Here's Lombardozzi, the outfielder, grabbing it with that wind pushing the ball back in. I would assume he can play anywhere with not a whole lot of problem.
Well, I went up to him today, and he said he was working out in the outfield the last couple of days. Davey Johnson throwing him right into action. I said, you're not a utility player until you can play the outfield. You know, I was a lot like Lombardozzi in the sense that I played shortstop my whole career. in AA and AAA, they made me a utility player to where I started playing the outfield. And so you can play all the positions. You're not a utility player. So for Lombardozzi, just adding something to the mix.
Laying one down on the run is Andrelton Simmons, and no play at all there for Zimmerman. All right, now we know what Simmons can do with those legs.
And anytime you can get a bunt down on that guy right there, like you always say, partner, maybe Adrian Beltre, the only guy in baseball that's better or as good as Ryan Zimmerman on the bunt play.
Ryan did everything he could. That was an outstanding play.
He was playing back right there, laid down a perfect bunt. Game on. Nice job.
Brian McCann, third at bat. He has singled and walked.
You talk about the little things making a ball club. With Simmons, he's been in a serious dogfight with Tyler Pasternicki at shortstop. And here's a guy that was probably slated to go to AA, and all of a sudden the talk is he has a chance to make this ball club. But I think when you're the incumbent or the guy that's supposed to play shortstop, like Pasternicki, it's a lot harder for that guy coming into camp knowing that he's going to play shortstop, where in Simmons' case, he's free and easy. I'm going to AA.
Sure.
I'm not supposed to make the team. I'm just going to go out there and do my thing. And it's going to be interesting to see when guys start getting sent down and he's still in camp, how he reacts. Is he the same player that he was early in camp, free and easy, to where, I got a chance to make this ball club. Yeah.
2-1. Durbin, what looked like a changeup. Doesn't throw a lot of those, as FP mentioned earlier, but that was definitely off speed.
And what does he play like when they give him a low number?
Yeah, when you go from 76 to 16.
Yep.
Something like that. Out to short. Well, McCann 16. Nobody's going to wear that number. High throw from Desmond, pulled down by Chad Tracy. So the Nats pitchers getting it done. 5 shutout innings today. Well, last year at this time, Davey Johnson, and the spring before, really mainly riding around in a golf cart with Pat Corrales, evaluating the organization, all the young players here. Now it's his camp. It's all his doing. And I asked him recently how he feels about this bunch, not to mention the character in this camp.
I knew a long time ago the makeup of this group is off the charts, and tremendous ability to go with it. We haven't played up to that ability. But this camp has been one of the best camps I've ever been involved in, to a man. I mean, I've almost had to sit on not to have extra work. I mean, that's the kind of camp it is.
Davey also told me with a smile on his face, he knows it's a good camp because he and the coaches can't agree on anything. There's so many guys playing well, they can't agree on who to send out, who to keep at certain times, and that's a good problem, FP, because it is a camp full of talent.
Well, it's not a good problem to have if there's a bunch of spots that you're talking about, but when it's only a couple, it's a great problem to have. It just goes to show you how good this ball club has a chance to be when, everybody has a different opinion maybe on the 5th starter or the 4th outfielder. But when you're talking about the first starter and your shortstop and your second baseman,
you want that to be unanimous.
Yeah.
This is right-hander Adam Russell. minor league free agent signing by the Braves last December. 15 games with San Diego. A couple of years ago, he's been with the Padres, the Rays, and the White Sox at various times. And that one right over our heads into the booth here.
I came over to cover you, and at the last second, did you see what I did? I ducked.
We both ducked. We'll find a young kid to give this ball to.
I'm not used to fielding that way.
Yeah, that was a zinger.
That was an ugly finder coming right at me.
There's a breaking ball low and away to Jesus Flores, bottom of the 5th.
I can't wait till we get back to the safety of our booth at Nationals Park.
Where only a Titleist could come and get us.
Not even that. The Titleist from John Daly.
And Flores will hit that one out of play to the right side. We did the right thing. We waved a little guy over and gave it to a kid.
That missed your head by about a foot.
I heard it go by. Flores hit by a pitch. Is only a B of the day, and he'll hit this ball fairly well to right. Right there is Hayward, short of the track to grab it. Tuesday, April 3rd, the Red Sox will be at Nationals Park for a 3:05 exhibition game. First 20,000 fans receive a 2012 schedule magnet presented by W.B. Mason. Go to nationals.com/tickets and come and join us for the Nats and the Sox. And of course, we'll be up at Fenway in June. One of our 6 spring training games. That'll be our finale before the Nats will head on to Chicago.
You know, I got out of the way. I thought I was going to hit that awning thing right in front of us and deflect down.
Yeah.
I really didn't want you to get hit, I swear.
I'm willing to take one as long as the laptop stays intact and keeps us connected to all the stuff we need to tell our fans about. Then here's Lombardozzi, who came into play left field last half inning. Steve hitting .303. He's 10 for 33 with a homer and 2 RBIs.
Doing everything a guy has to do to make a ball club.
Just try to chop that ball the other way on a 2-1 pitch. On to the top of the order next with Ian Desmond, who's 0 for 1 with a walk. Yeah, if we had to do a regular season in this booth, I think I'd go Ernie Harwell and put some chicken wire up here. I once asked Ernie why he did that at Tiger Stadium. He said, because I'm chicken.
The best. Ernie Harwell.
You grew up listening to him.
I did.
One of the most graceful, nice people you will ever meet. Up and away, 3-2, and he sounded just as good at 80 as he did at 50. We miss him dearly. Had a chance to drive through Lakeland the other day, right past Tiger Town. What a great little baseball setup for the spring that is. Lombardozzi places one up the middle for a base hit. Even if Simmons gloves it, no way he throws out Steve.
We talked about it last broadcast with Lombardozzi playing great 2-strike approach. Just spread out, get the foot down early, put the ball in play, and good things will happen. How many times did I say that last year? But you know, a lot of times it's the case, especially for a guy like Lombardozzi. Just slap it out there somewhere. You never know where the holes are. Another good piece of hitting from number 1.
Now hitting .323. Desmond lined out hard to right first time. In the first, walked in the third. Shows bunt, and McCann goes sliding. Or not Brian McCann. They have replaced him with Jose Yepes.
That's a good time for Davey Johnson if he's ever thinking about hitting and running. He's got his leadoff guy up there, 1-0 count, guy that runs pretty good on first base. This would be a good time to do it.
And that's exactly what they did with Lombardozzi on the move and Desmond off to the right side.
As a base runner on first base in hit and run situation, you don't have to get the best jump, but you see Steve Lombardozzi right there rolling his head, looking back in. So as a base runner, you take 3 or 4 steps, find the baseball. Because if you don't look in, sometimes you get all messed up out there. That was a good job by Lombardozzi. I like the hit and run with these two guys. That's a good play right there. Davey Johnson doesn't use it very much, but you know, when you have the perfect storm, a guy that hits the ball the other way, a guy that can handle that bat, a runner on first that runs pretty good, a smart base runner. Good time to try it. Good place to work on it.
Nats on top 1-0. They've been out hit by the Braves 4-2, but an opportunistic 4th inning when Zimmerman was hit by a pitch. Tracy a base hit. They moved up on a pass ball, and Jason Michaels got the RBI grounder on a long count and a good at bat. One and 2 to Desmond. Still thinking right field. Breeze will push that one out of play. Danny Espinosa, 0 for 2, lined out hard to first. His last time up. The Nats have had some good but unrewarded at-bats today.
That was a great at-bat last time by Danny Espinosa. We watched the 2-strike approach. He fouled some balls off and ended up hitting a line drive.
And Desmond hanging tough here.
And we didn't get a chance to talk about it because we went to break, but you know, that's the difference in Espinosa from last year. And he fouled off 3 or 4 tough pitches to get that last pitch. And we always talk about buying yourself another chance with 2 strikes. That's exactly what he did. He barreled it up.
And Desmond continues to impress here in the 5th inning. Last time the Nats will be home for a while. They go to Jupiter against St. Louis tomorrow. Kissimmee against Houston Friday. Sarasota against the Orioles Saturday. Look at Desmond. That pitch was actually inner half, and he just bumped it into right field. One of the best at-bats I've seen him have ever. First and second, 1 out.
Oh, he dropped an ever on him.
Yeah.
A nice job of fighting. We talked about it with Danny Espinosa last time, but how about Ian Desmond this time? That's something Nats fans can get used to. Ian Desmond going the other way with 2 strikes, but even more so getting used to these 2 guys hitting back-to-back. Davey Johnson said these are his 1 and 2 guys. No ifs, ands, or buts. They're going to be the top of the order this year. He's not going to play with it at all. He wants them to know that they have the security of knowing where they're going to hit on a daily basis. You know, Danny Espinosa last year didn't do so well in the 2 slot. And Davey Johnson went up to him early in camp and said, hey, you're going to be my number 2 guy. Are you okay with that? And Danny said, hey, that's where I hit the majority of my career. I'm fine with hitting second.
Well, we know how Desmond feels about hitting at the top of the order. He loves it. Hit between 270 and 280 the second half last year. Didn't have the greatest on-base percentage, but I'll take 280 from him all year.
Absolutely.
Because it'll be a productive 280 as much as he can slash and show us that frequent power of his. It's all about getting on base. 2 of them are on here for Danny. And he had a left field idea on that swing. Trying to add to a 1-0 lead here. Bottom 5 are the Nats. They've now collected 2 of their 3 hits here. That's close, but a ball. It becomes a real good take by Danny to turn the count in his favor. Lively bat. Ryan Zimmerman waiting. And now the young hurler, Russell, in trouble here in the 5th.
And if you're Espinosa right here, 3-1 count leverage, 1 pitch, 1 spot, let it fly. And he did.
But even that wasn't a big loopy swing, was it?
No, very short, compact right to the baseball. Got his pitch. fouled it back. It'd be interesting to see if Davey Johnson decides to start the runners here in a 3-2 count. Another battle for Danny Espinosa. Last time up a 3-2 fight. Ended up lining out. This time, same thing. I think last year in this situation, no way you start the runners, right? With Ryan Zimmerman on deck, yeah, Danny Espinosa was a strikeout guy last year. But maybe this is a chance where Davey Johnson's seeing the evolution of Danny Espinosa as a major league hitter from the left side. You think about it. He didn't start him right there, but I'm talking about during the season now. If Danny can show that he can put the ball in play consistently, you start the runners.
Right at Simmons. Ugla will turn the 6-4-3, and the Nats are gone in the 5th. Sharply hit ball right after shortstop. Nats on top. On to the 6th inning. Well, so far so good on the weather. It was 50-50 on rain today. And now the breeze has actually died down just a bit. Beautiful day here in Vieira. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals. It's been a good spring from the weather standpoint. Very few interruptions to any ball games here. And we go top 6 with Dan Ugla now, followed by Freddie Freeman against Chad Durbin. Second inning of work for him. Durbin has now worked 10 1/3 innings, giving up 3 earned runs in Florida. 8 strikeouts, 2 walks. Veteran guy who knows how to pitch. Keeping that ball away from Ugla. The count's 1-1 on the foul tip. Dan Ugla today. Fly ball to center and a bomb to the wall and left, caught by Michaels in the teeth of that wind. Great breaking ball there by Durbin. Tough for a right-hander to hang in on that.
A good breaking ball from Durbin right here, but I like the cutter before it. He started the cutter on the outer half, ran it off the plate.
He doubles up on the curve.
I think that's where you go with Ugla. I mean, obviously you can climb the ladder with 2 strikes, he'll chase high, but make him beat you the other way.
Right up the middle. Wind will push it over to Espinosa's side. Danny's still on the move, and he has it for the first out.
Just a routine pop-up to Danny Espinosa, and if you saw how he started the play, that ball was hit right to him in his tracks. Look at, I got this right to me, I'll walk over, whoa, here comes the wind, and look where he ends up. All the way from back on the grass, halfway to first base. Tell you what, if you can catch pop-ups in Florida in spring training, you can catch them anywhere.
Off the hands of Freeman, a foul ball to the left. Freddie Freeman's third at bat. He's flied to right and reached on a shortstop's error. Well, where do the Braves figure into the National League East this year? Some issues to start the season with their pitching staff. Health crucial for Chipper and his buddies in the middle of that lineup. And, of course, Michael Bourne, a great igniter at the top.
Healthy, they're in the mix. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
But that's a big if right now. But the one thing's with the Braves, their minor league system's always so stacked. How many games did we do last year, partner, where they would run out some guy that we had never seen before throwing 98 miles an hour, 22 years old. So they grow them on trees down there, guys that can throw in the upper 90s. But if their starting rotation is healthy and effective, they'll be in the mix. So that's been the recipe for success for a long time in Atlanta.
And that September, very un-Brave-like what happened to them.
Well, they're two guys that they went to all season long in the bullpen hit the wall at the same time. Venters and Kimbrel. Guys that were used 70-something games.
So was Eric O'Flaherty.
Yeah.
All three of those guys.
And we joked about it in the course of the year, man. They're going to need these guys in some big games in September. And are they going to have what it takes? And I think the question was answered.
You just don't associate the Atlanta Ball Club with collapses in September. 3-2 pitch. Durbin continues to pump strikes. Freeman stays alive.
Yeah, in those 14 consecutive National League East championships, I don't think there was any collapses in September. I mean, that's an amazing number, right? 14 consecutive NL East championships.
I don't think that'll ever be done.
I don't think so either.
Up the middle, Espinosa to his right, throwing across his body, and plenty of arm with which to do it. Danny can do it all defensively. Give him a star in the book for that one.
Yeah. I see the arm strength going toward the shortstop side, throwing across his body right on the money.
Jason Hayward now with 2 outs in the 6th as the Nats behind Lannon and Durbin lead 1-0. Beaten 2-0 by the Mets last night when Strasburg gave up a run on only 2 hits in 5 innings. Gio goes tomorrow. Zimmerman Friday. Edwin Jackson Saturday. I'd kind of like to win those first 2 games in Chicago and have a guy from Wisconsin going on Sunday in cold weather.
Absolutely.
That would feel pretty good if Jordan is the number 3 guy.
Cold weather was 80 the other day in Chicago.
Yeah, how about that?
You know what that means, though. Snow on opening day.
Yeah. Well, you had it there.
I did. Center field and snowflakes opening day against the Cubs.
Sure those weren't beer suds?
Well, that was when we came back in July.
Okay.
Bikinis and beer suds in center field.
2-2 Durbin to Hayward. Really pulled the string on him. Chad Durbin follows Lannon up now with 2 scoreless innings. 3, 4, and 5 due up for the Nats, who lead 1-0. Well, speak softly and carry a big stick at the ballpark. Just be careful swinging that thing. Got a wiffle ball to go with it, and it is 1-0 Nats going to the bottom of the 6th inning. MLB at bat. You can follow the Nats in the spring and all season long. MLB.com at bat. 12 for your tablet, smartphone, or mobile devices. Delivering spring training wherever you are with scores, stats, video, live audio, and much more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit nationals.com for details. Told you earlier today about Jose Constanza. He's in the ballgame now to play left field, and that'll move Jordan Perez over to right. Jason Hayward out of the game. And the Braves have a new pitcher, right-hander Jairo Asensio.
Fastball slider change from Asensio. If I remember right from last year, his changeup is pretty dirty. What a plus change.
Just 6 games in relief for the Braves last year. 3 games in 09, did not pitch. In 2010, he was on the restricted list. Ryan Zimmerman, bottom 6.
What's a restricted list? Should I know what that is?
Is that a nice way of putting that there was something going on for which he was suspended?
Okay.
I believe it is.
Is that like double secret probation?
Ryan fly ball to center, hit by a pitch and a run scored. And the wind will blow that thing way up into the seats. Zimmerman, Worth, and Tracy here in the 6th. A little bit outside, says Paul Nart, and Ryan works the count full. He has struck out only 3 times this spring. 22 official at bats and drawn 3 walks. He pulls it and handled easily over there by Drew Sutton, the third baseman, for the first out. Next up, Jason Worth. Space Coast Stadium, capacity of 7,200. The Nats involved in some news over the last 24 hours, as officials over in Lee County in the Fort Myers area have officially approved now the opening of discussions with the Nationals about a spring training stadium complex over there. That'll be a boot by Sutton, and Worth is aboard on the Atlanta error here in the 6th inning. And I can tell you, P, my family and I spent the weekend down there in the Fort Myers area on the West Coast. It is a very dynamic, populated area with a lot going on. The Red Sox are down there. The Twins are in that area. The Rays are less than an hour north of there in Port Charlotte. And if you go a little further, you have the Orioles in Sarasota, the Pirates in Bradenton. So there's a lot of baseball on the west coast of Florida. It is not that case over here.
No, there's the closest thing to the Nationals on the road right now is a 75-minute bus trip. So when you talk about moving over to City of the Palms Park.
First pitch swinging, Tracy to left field, on the move and unable to get to the foul ball. Jose Constanza, who can fly.
I think it's a good thing for a lot of reasons. I mean, no offense to Vieira. Everybody's had fun here. It's a great ballpark, a great venue. But when you talk about having the teams close to you, that's a bonus, obviously. But I think the thing that might benefit the Nationals even more than that is there are American League teams over there. You're not playing teams that you're going to play during the season. When you talk about playing the Marlins and the Braves and the Mets, you already played those teams 19 times during the regular season. And you can save some things for the year to where these guys aren't constantly scouting you, getting used to you in spring training.
Yeah, good point. Hadn't thought about that. Up the middle, base hit.
He's on the team again.
Chad Tracy, 2 for 3 now.
So a nice day for Chad Tracy. A couple of base hits. He got the first hit of the day for the Nationals in the 4th inning. Look at this swing right here. just keep it simple, get the foot down early, right back up the middle. So Davey Johnson said he wants to see a lot of Chad Tracy, this last couple of weeks at camp. And so far, so good for number 18, standing on first base.
Rick Ankiel now will hit for Chad Durbin in that number 6 spot. Ankiel on the spring, 3 for 8 with a home run. Also has a stolen base. So everything busy now. Atahualpa Severino getting ready. 2 really good innings by Chad Durbin. Only a bunt base hit. 1 strikeout. Everything else zeros. Ankiel, another one of those guys, and that was a nasty looking. What's that, splitter?
That's a changeup I'm talking about. He's got a good one.
A good enough change that it looks like a splitter. Ankiel, another one of those guys trying to shorten that left-handed swing a bit this spring, but this is nasty.
Yeah, this is the plus change I was talking about. You look at the movement, the arm speed. Good pitch.
Roger Bernardino 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a fly ball to center. Breaking ball drops in there. So we shall stay tuned on the whole spring training situation, but talk is if things happen as quickly as they can, the Nationals could be in Southwest Florida 2 years from now. That would leave only the Marlins, the Cardinals, and the Mets on the East Coast.
We're just getting the Orlando airport wired.
Well, Fort Myers has an airport.
Is it a nice one?
Not as big as Orlando, I can tell you that. Not as many kiddos this time of the year heading for Disney World.
I spent more time in the Orlando airport this spring than I have my own house.
1-2 to Bernardino. 2 on, 2 out here in the 6th. Roger can't reach that nasty pitch low and away. So an error and a base hit. The Nationals have stranded 6. On to the 7th. The good guys on top by 1. Let's summarize things for you. On to the 7th inning with the Nats on top 1-0. Ryan Zimmerman on base. He was 0 for 2, but hit by a pitch in the 4th. Came around to score on the Jason Michaels RBI ground ball. Story of the day, though, a couple of knocks for Chad Tracy, 2 for 3 at first base. Chad Durbin follows up John Lannon with 2 scoreless innings.
Hey, Chad Tracy having a good day, a couple of hits up the middle. We're talking about guys trying to go north with this ball club. And a great job, Jason Michaels with 2 strikes, spreading out, getting a ground ball RBI to second base. And Steven Lombardozzi, same thing, 2-strike approach, ground ball back up the middle. So all the guys trying to make the ball club having a good day.
Brett Carroll ran for Jason Worth. He stays in to play right field. Andres Blanco is in at third for Zimmerman. The new catcher. The Nats have been very impressed with him in the spring as Carlos Maldonado, who we saw at the major league level for a short time last year. And the new pitcher will be Atahualpa Severino.
Fastball slider change from Severino.
3 innings this spring, 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks. Jordan Perez started the game in left field. He's 0 for 2. And he leads off here in the 7th against Severino. Up the middle to his left. Good pick by Desmond. Took him a moment to find that ball cleanly for the exchange, FP. That was a good range there.
Yeah, nice play on a tricky hop, but a nice play by Chad Tracy on the backside, stretching to his backhand side and in between hop. So good play all the way around. This is the trickiest play for Ian Desmond all day. Watch this last little hop. He has to give with it. He stays soft, a little double pump. And watch Chad Tracy on the backhand side picking up his shortstop. Nice play all the way around for the Nationals infield.
Drew Sutton will be the hitter. 0 for 2.
I don't think the manager, Davey Johnson, didn't just notice that pick by Chad Tracy. That's one of those things as a skipper you're watching and you check that box off right there.
10 ground ball outs, by the way, by Lannon, Durbin, and now Severino. In the air to center. Medina now will drift over with it. 2 quick outs here in the 7th. 4 down, 2 to go from spring training after today. A week from Friday, FP and will be here for a Friday night game against the Marlins. 6 o'clock Eastern, and then April 3rd, the Red Sox come to Nationals Park.
Have you been home practicing Miami Marlins? Every day in your house saying Miami Marlins, Miami Marlins, Miami Marlins?
I think I just heard enough of it.
There you go.
That'll be a little strange.
I've been doing that. I've been getting ready for the season, jogging around with a couple 20-pound microphones in my hand. I've been taking my tie off, putting it on, doing the tie practice, putting the makeup on real quick. All that stuff that broadcasters do to get ready for the season. Miami Marlins practice.
Now, just make sure you got enough left for the second half after the All-Star break. Don't take the tie off too many times.
Tie on, tie off practice.
I'm going to have Danny Espinosa talk to you about that.
Do I wear my polo today or do I wear my tie? All of that stuff goes into a broadcaster. Eating bad food on the road. You know, you got to get ready for the season too.
That's a habit that never gets old. Jose Yepes, the catcher. 2 balls and a strike on the chopper over to the left side.
And don't forget the ironing the clothes in the hotel room quickly. You got to practice that before you get on the road.
Yeah, make sure you don't burn yourself.
Don't burn your suit. Don't burn yourself. I was just jumping a cab for no reason the off season to get in shape. All kinds of stuff that people don't realize that you and I do to get in shape for this 162 game season.
Suddenly I'm feeling like I had a pretty lazy winter listening to you. Just did some college basketball games and enjoyed some of the nice weather.
Well, you've been doing it a lot longer. I mean, you're the established guy. I'm still trying to make the team in spring training.
Well, you and Chad Tracy, you're on the team today. There's no doubt about that.
You can't vouch for me against the Miami Marlins coming up next week.
We're all day to day.
That's right.
2-2 in on his hands, and it'll hang up for Carroll. How about the Nats pitching staff today? Lannon, Durbin, and now Atahualpa Severino. Outstanding pitching by the Nats today. They came into this game with a team ERA of 3.64 this spring. And it is going down, down, down. Bottom of the 7th coming up. Good crowd stretching. Josh Wilson takes over at second base for the Braves, so Dan Uggla has the rest of the day off. And they have a new pitcher out there, right-hander, who we saw some of last year, Anthony Varvaro.
A fastball, curveball change from Varvaro. Mostly fastball, curveball. His fastball being the low to mid 90s. Got a good arm.
Nats have Andres Blanco batting in the number 8 spot, where Jesus Flores was. Blanco is a defensive specialist at the plate. He's 1 for 23 on the spring, but it's a home run and he has 2 RBIs.
Had a couple of hard hit balls the last time we did a broadcast down here. They were scored errors. I thought they were both hits.
Yeah. Little roller left side on the charge. And the shortstop makes the play. That is still Andrelton Simmons playing over there. Steve Lombardozzi will be next. He had a base hit last time up. A lot to like about this young man.
Especially if he's thrown some outfield into the mix. We've seen him play third base for the first time last year down in Florida at the end of the season. He did that just fine.
And Lombardozzi will lift it out to center. Short center. Simmons there, 2 outs.
If he can start playing the outfield as well, it just makes him a super utility player. Even more value to Davey Johnson coming off the bench. Guy who can double switch at 6 or 7 different positions. Give somebody a breather on a given day that's playing every day. And the magic number's around 300 at-bats. Mike Rizzo said if Steve Lombardozzi can get about 300 or so at-bats, then that's a productive year. They don't want him just rotting on the end of the bench.
Ian Desmond goes up and has been shooting the ball out to right field today. Looks like Tyler Clippard will take over in the 8th. Then the Nats would have Sean Burnett and Ryan Perry still available. That's a nasty breaking pitch, and the count's 0-2. Anthony Varvaro made 4 appearances for the Braves last year. That is not a swing. Major League time with Seattle the year before that for Anthony Varvaro, who's from Staten Island. Braves got him off waivers from the M's January of last year. Desmond rides a fastball to right. Boy, he's had some good ABs today. And that sails over the glove of Perez to the wall. And Ian Desmond's into second base.
A nice day for Ian Desmond. A couple of hits, a walk. He lined out sharply to right field his first time up. So barrel on the baseball 3 times for Desmond today. And check out the 2-strike approach from Desmond. Foot down early. Got a pitch out over the plate. Drove it the other way. So anytime your leadoff hitter can get on 3 times, that's a good thing.
Well, and that just goes to show, FP, we talked about how strong he is. He is very capable of driving the ball the other way. So is this guy, Danny Espinosa. Nasty breaking ball from Varvaro for a strike.
You could tell the season is approaching. You got your top 2 hitters all of a sudden getting 4 at-bats in the spring training game. Getting close to opening day.
As we get up to the number 3 spot, Carlos Maldonado now catching. And Davey Johnson's been very impressed with him down here. Maybe the only thing the Nats need one of these left-handed catchers to do is be able to bat left-handed. Ramos, Flores, and Maldonado, all talented right-handed hitters. And a 2-1, and he unable to get over the top of that thing.
Well, here it is, a 3rd at-bat in a row for Danny Espinosa with 2 strikes. The first time up, he lined out. The first time up with 2 strikes, I should say. He lined out hard to first base. Hit a bullet to shortstop his last time with 2 strikes.
Sharply hit right side. Josh Wilson grabs it. But I'm telling you, folks, despite having only 5 hits, the Nats have swung the bats pretty well today. This ball game to the top of the 8th inning. Nats on top of the Braves, 1-0. Don't forget about everything going on opening weekend after the Nats start the season. On the road Thursday, first 20,000 fans receive an opening day cap presented by Geico. Friday. First 15,000, a Natitude t-shirt from 106.7 The Fan. Saturday, first 15,000 fans, a Steven Strasburg bobblehead presented by PNC Bank. Nationals.com/tickets for everything you need to know about home opening weekend. And odds are, if things are going well, you'll see this guy pitching in the 8th inning. Tyler Clippard this spring has pitched in 6 ball games, in 6 innings, 6 hits, 8 strikeouts, 3 walks, opponents hitting .261. You know, it may seem like more, FP, but last year, according to our service, he threw the changeup 27% of the time. You would think it was more than that.
Yeah, it's because he threw it in big situations, in big counts. When we talk about getting ready for the season, this is what Tyler Clippard does. The 8th inning, 1-run lead. And we asked him early in camp, you know, how do you get up for these games? Well, today's a perfect example. He's got a situation that he's going to be in the regular season. This is a perfect time to get some serious work in for Tyler Clippard.
Top of the order for the Braves.
Say happy birthday to my boyfriend.
Michael Bourne will lead off for the Braves, and Drelton Simmons to follow. Then the pitcher's spot here in the 8th inning. Bourne today 1 for 3 with a bunt base hit and his first stolen base of the spring. Blanco even with the bag at third. Actually in front of the bag a bit, as is Tracy in the first base side.
Good changeup right there. I always like that pitch to left-handers. A lot of righties don't do it. Is a change-up in. The second strike to Michael Bourne. As a hitter, you usually don't see the change-up in. Usually it starts over the middle, kind of fades off the plate away, or it's middle. But every time in my career from a righty, batting left-handed, I saw a change-up in. It locked me up. When you saw Michael Bourne take that pitch, you usually don't see it on the inner half.
Now against a hitter with great power, do you throw that pitch?
Probably not. But you look at the changeup right there on the inner half of the plate. Nice. Probably not a spot that you usually see it as a left-handed hitter. Usually out away from you.
Another thing to put in the hitter's mind, huh?
Yep.
Then he has him reaching. Set him up inside, strike him out away. Only the 4th strikeout by the Nats staff today. They've been pitching to contact effectively.
Yeah, just a pretty good sequence right there from Tyler Clippard to Michael Bourne. Some off-speed in, and usually the fastball's up for strike 3. That time it was painted on the outer half. Good pitch.
And Drelton Simmons, the shortstop, like Bourne, also 1 hit today, a bunt.
You want to make that Brave squad getting hit off a guy like Tyler Clippard, an all-star, go a long way in your manager's eyes. Now, these are the kind of at-bats that Freddie wants to see. What do you do against the elite guys?
Oh, that is up and in. And Paul Narton will send Simmons down to first base. He appears to be okay, but that is a danger zone for hands, forearms, and elbows.
Let's listen to what it sounded like. I'm going to say not good. See where it got him. Right on the lower forearm area, almost the wrist.
Jose Constanza, the Nats got a good look at him late in the season. He hit .303 for Atlanta in 42 games. A couple of home runs, 10 RBIs, 7 stolen bases. Maybe the fastest man on their team. Runner going. That is beautiful. A bullet to second base by Maldonado for the second out. We told you that Davy Johnson has been very impressed in camp with Carlos.
Yeah, check out the technique. Not in a big hurry, but what a throw. Right on the money. Danny Espinosa doesn't have to do a whole lot. You look at Espinosa right there straddling the base, letting the ball get close to him. Perfect throw, perfect tag. Thanks for coming.
There's the changeup, and Clippard misses 2-0.
The Nats have catching for days. You talk about their top two guys, this guy, and everybody we've seen in camp so far. No wonder they traded Norris. Yep.
Well, Flores was once considered the Mets' top catching prospect. Nats picked him up in the Rule 5 draft. And of course, they traded Matt Capps to get Wilson Ramos. Suddenly, the cupboard is full. Outside, 3-1. We haven't even talked about Jonathan Solano.
In a regular season 1-0 game in the top of the 8th, that throw would have been huge. I mean, it's big today, the spring training game, but it's a big play.
This ball driven to left. Lombardozzi will get his feet set and under it. And Tyler Clippard continues the good pitching by the Nats today, leading 1-0. Beautiful day in Vieira. Weather has stayed away. 50% chance of rain. Long gone. Bottom of the 8th. The Nats on top 1-0. Chris Marrero joins us. Chris, of course, drafted by the Nats. First rounder recently. And then 31 games, 109 at-bats in September. Hey, Chris, tell us how you're feeling, how your rehab is coming, and what all you're able to do here at spring training right now.
My rehab's going great. You know, we're working hard with the trainers and getting back into baseball shape, doing as much activity as I can, and you know, it's going well.
Yeah, when is the projected date for you to come back?
It's hopefully, you know, by the end of April I'll be, you know, playing in games. I don't know where, but you know, that's kind of my goal, and the goal with Lee Coombs, the trainer. So that's what we're working on.
Talk about your experience last year. You got called up. I thought you did a fantastic job, both offensively and defensively. What did you learn last year from your time up with the Nationals?
You know, I learned a lot. You know, a lot of guys who helped me a lot when I got up, and you know, I didn't try to do too much. You know, hit the ball well. I played great defense, and you know, I had fun. You know, it was a great experience.
Chris Marrero hit .248 with 10 RBIs. 27 hits, 5 doubles. Johan Flande takes over for the Braves here in the bottom of the 8th.
Have you ever faced Johan Flande?
Yeah, I faced him in AA. Got a couple hits off of him.
Nice.
What has he got? What do you remember?
Yeah, we need you for our scouting report right here.
We have no idea.
he's you know, he's got an okay fastball, you know, a little sink to it, and he has a decent changeup. Throws a lot of sliders inside to righties.
Maldonado late on that delivery, and that's it for him. Bottom of the 8th underway. Speaking with Chris Marrero. Now, you worked to play at the University of Miami when you signed with the Nats as the #1 draft pick back in '06.
Yeah.
And FP, of course, is a guy from the U. That's a pretty important program down in your neck of the woods, a couple 100 miles south.
Yeah, big mistake, buddy, by the way. Taking that first-round money instead of going to the U.
Yeah, man, you can't say no to that, but I wouldn't have mind going to UM. You know, they just redid the facility, and it's a nice place. You know, a couple of my friends work out there, and I've been to a couple games.
You know, what is your mindset right now? I mean, it's got to be killing you that you're not out here playing. Obviously, some injuries to some important guys. Michael Moore's hurt right now. Adam LaRoche hurt right now. And you'd have been right in the mix. So, like, how do you stay positive on a daily basis, you know, when you can't be a part of it?
Yeah, you know, it's hard a little, but, you know, my #1 goal right now is just to get back on the field, because right now I can't control anything unless I can perform on the field. So just trying to get back, and, you know, from there, then we'll keep going from there.
Hey, Chris, one of the things that we have on you is that over your last 3 years, as you climbed the ladder, single A, double A, triple A, your batting average was just under 300. Usually in the 15 to 20 home run range, 75 to 80 RBIs. How have you managed as a young guy to be so consistent offensively?
You know, just staying the other way, hitting the ball the other way, you know, I think that just helps. You know, good hitters, you know, can hit the ball at all fields, and I just think the more I mature as a hitter, the more the power, and you know, my average will just keep staying where it's at. Kind
of like Brett Carroll just did, his 9th hit of the spring, looking for an outfield job.
Yeah, stayed inside the ball and hit the ball well to either field.
Hey, talk about your first big league game last year. I remember your whole family there in Atlanta. We're up here. We're excited for you. Long journey, a lot of hard work in the minor leagues. I'm telling everybody how much better you've gotten defensively at first base. And you
first ball of the game. The first ball of the game hits me way, and I was still amazed looking at all the stands, how many people, and the stadium's real nice, and boom, first ball. I'm like, oh, come on.
You had to be a little bit nervous. Every one of us was our first big league game.
Yeah, I couldn't even settle in. I'm still getting used to everything, and the first ball hit right at me.
You know, ground balls carry really well in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you obviously have gotten better defensively at first base. You worked real hard on it, and you were fantastic over there the rest of the season. But, I mean, right out of the gate, something like that happens. Tell the fans at home, your head must have been spinning.
It was spinning, you know. It's like, wow. I just told all my friends to turn on the TV and watch me play in the first ball. I mean, I dropped it.
But you rebounded nicely. If I remember right, you got a knock late in the game?
I got a knock my second at bat. The first at bat I just missed one, but second at bat I got a knock, and you know, I think I just calmed down from there. You know, Trent got I got the first, and Trent's like, no matter what happens, you're in the book. You know, you got your first hit, so you know, just going up from here. He kind of pumped me up when I got the first.
Absolutely. I mean, then all of a sudden it goes to just being another baseball game. You're up there your first time, your first big league game. Your head's spinning. You're thinking about your 6th grade teacher watching you play on TV, and then all of a sudden it turns into the same game you've played your whole life.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain. You know, you work so hard to get to the big leagues that you know you just want to enjoy the ride.
Chad Tracy pops it up. Second out here in the 8th inning. Well, Chris, we've enjoyed getting to know you so much since last year. We're pulling for you, buddy. All the best in your rehab, and we want to see you back on the field real soon. And you're still a very important part of this organization. We don't want you to ever forget that.
Thank you, guys. Awesome talking to you.
Talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, man. Thank you.
Chris Marrero, former #1 draft pick back in '06, fighting his way back from an injury to get back on the field and hopefully helping out the Nats at some point this season.
I'm all for having all the South Florida guys on the air every single game. Gio Gonzalez from the Miami area. He's from the Miami area. It's great to have them on. And Chris Marrero did a great job last year. It's got to be killing him right now that he can't be out there, because he'd be right in the mix. I mean, with LaRoche hurt a little bit and Morris hurt a little bit, he'd need a lot of playing time in April.
Wilson Ramos with a nice swing, pitch hitting, but he's gone. So the Nats go to the 9th inning and leading the Braves 1-0. Top of the ninth coming up. The Nats haven't won a game in Florida in a week. 0-6-1, a tie in their last 7 games, trying to nail down a 1-0 verdict here today. A lot of things to talk about. Opening day in Chicago against the Cubs, day game. Steven Strasburg named the opening day starter today. Looks like Gio Gonzalez might pitch the home opener against the Reds. At Fenway, at the Sky Dome, which I think is called the Rogers Center now, Interleague, and the Yankees and the Rays come visiting. And of course our usual home and home with the Orioles, highlighting this year's schedule. Right-hander Ryan Perry for the Nats.
They get an opportunity to close a game, even though it is a spring training game. And like you said, partner, they haven't won in a while.
36 games with the Tigers last year with a 5.35 ERA. 24 strikeouts in 37 innings, but control was a problem. With those 24 punch-outs, 21 walks. Perry down here in spring training. 5 games, a 1.5 ERA, 1 run on 4 hits in 6 innings, and a sterling 8-1 strikeout walk total. Josh Wilson for the Braves here in the ninth. Freddie Freeman will bat next. And the count 2-0. Freddie Freeman sticking around for an entire day's work today, 0 for 3. Ugla went 0 for 3 before being out of there. Brian McCann 1 for 2 with a base hit and a walk. Michael Bourne 1 for 4 with a bunt base hit. Those were the Braves regulars who came over for this one. And the count's 3-1. Braves have had 1 hit today since the 3rd inning. Only 4 on the day, 3 given up by John Lennon in 4 shutout innings. Durbin 2 scoreless innings. Severino and Clippard scoreless 7th and 8th respectively. In the air, right side. No way the wind will allow that to stay in play. And a 3-2 to the leadoff man.
And if you're Perry right now, you're just saying, hey, right down the middle, wind blowing in, big ballpark. Here it is, hit it. You challenge fastball 3-2. You don't want to walk him, obviously.
Throwing strikes on 3-2 and fouled out of play. That wind is really whipping in again from left field.
You look where Steve Lombardozzi's playing in left field. Usually in this situation, you're playing no doubles, a 1-0 game. Nothing could be hit over your head. But with the wind gusting in from left field, you play shallow.
And a leadoff walk. That'll bring in Freddie Freeman, who could change this game with 1 swing. 21 home runs, 76 RBIs, 32 doubles as a rookie, hitting 282 last year. David Rome will run for Josh Wilson. Freeman today, fly ball to right, ground ball to short on an error, and a hot shot to Espinosa on which Danny made a good play. He'll go to his left this time. Forget about the runner at second. Get an out, and he does. Tying runs at second base with one out here in the ninth.
Well, Freddie Freeman realized one thing today. Don't try Danny Espinosa. That's the second hit he's taken away from him.
He does have amazing range. A week from Friday, and look at that, we'll have some Nats Extra with you as the Nationals take on the Miami Marlins. And I almost said Florida.
Well, they're going to be colorful this year in more ways than one.
Third baseman Joey Turtoslavich came into the ball game in the bottom of the 8th inning.
What's his name again?
Joey.
Well played.
I'll tell you, if Tyler Pasternicki starts at shortstop next to this guy, their clubhouse guy is going to be busy.
It's going to be a 4-hour game just saying the names.
Ground ball right side. Espinosa gets behind it. And he flawless at second base today. Tying run at third base now with 2 outs in the ninth.
It's an interesting situation brewing right here. For some reason, this game is tied. Do the managers have somebody up in the bullpen ready to pitch the 10th inning?
Well, yeah. The Nats did list Sean Burnett as available today. And I've seen games in spring training when there's a tie after 9 innings. The umpires get up and leave. And then certain coaches might stay behind an umpire if the managers agree that some pitchers need work. We'll see how that goes. But if the Nats take care of the out here, don't have to worry about that. Jordan Perez has gone all the way in the outfield today. Harry sizzles in a fastball. Perez is 0 for 3 with 2 ground balls and a pop-up.
If I was an umpire for Halloween, can I do it? I mean, I will.
If you can get in full gear quick enough.
I'm ready. You better be swinging.
You're nuts if you stand behind these guys.
You better be swinging.
That Masson shirt would look really good on you with an inside protector. You'd look like a superhero.
That'd be Enrico Palazzo doing the moonwalk, ringing guys up left and right.
1 ball and 1 strike to Perez with 2 outs here in the ninth. Perry misses low and away. Maldonado with the backhand.
If you're catching right now and you're Maldonado, you have to do everything you can to keep the ball in front of you.
Two 1 pitch. Breaking ball, chopped, foul.
So if this was a regular season, we'd be biting our nails.
The crowd would be on its feet at Nationals Park right now. Screech would be ready to wave the flag up on the platform in right field.
And hopefully some guy named Drew Storn would be on the mound too.
About to throw a killer slider. 2-2 from Ryan Perry. He'll go fastball. And this game is tied on a base hit to right field by Jordan Perez. Leadoff walk comes back to haunt here in the ninth.
A nice piece of hitting. And Perry throws a fastball in the outer half, just putting the barrel on the baseball. And all of a sudden, we got a new ball game.
And finally, some Braves fans who are here able to make some noise. I think the Nats have had one game. I think it was with St. Louis, ended a 1-1 tie in the last week. But Washington will have a chance with the bottom 3 spots in the order due up in the ninth. Fastball is up. The good news is neither Johnny Venters nor Craig Kimbrell is on this trip. And a ball to right. Brett Carroll is right there, and we are going to the bottom of the ninth. in a 1-1 game. Bernardino, Blanco, and Lombardozzi, the scheduled duos. Well, one more half inning at least here in Vieira, Florida. We're talking about the scenario here as Paul Nart goes over to talk to Freddie Gonzalez. And as we've said before, games can end in ties here. Sometimes teams can choose to play an extra inning just for pitchers, but even if somebody scores, the game would go down as a tie. We'll see how they figure it out here.
So there's no shootout.
If the Nats, well, they should, spring training, you should have a home run derby to decide the game. That'd be fun.
That would.
Let everybody in the dugout take one swing.
Davey Johnson came out and told home plate umpire Paul Nauert one. He held the finger up one. So whatever that means, one more inning, or this is it, or
yeah,
we're going to be tied at one after this is over.
We do know that Sean Burnett is available if needed. He was on the list today. Roger Bernardino leads off, bottom of the ninth. Bernardino 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts today. Facing the left-hander Johan Flande. That's nasty on the breaking ball. One side of the plate to the other.
It's a great time for Roger Bernardino to work on his bunting skills. Bring one with you.
Can't do it now. The third baseman, Turtoslavich, backs up on an 0-2 count. And that ball whistled right over the head of the Braves coaches against the batting screen back there. Backstop. Bernardino looks it up front to a breaking ball, low and inside.
These guys just look like baseball coaches. Sunglasses on, a little gray in the beard.
Whoa! High fastball. 2-2. I think Eddie Perez is one of those guys. Maybe Carlos Tosca, who was a manager in Toronto for a while. Andres Blanco next for the Nats. If Bernardino could get on, Blanco is a very good bunter. Of course, Roger can fly. Lombardozzi to follow. Bottom 9, 1-1 game. That's about hit the Braves 6-5. Bernardino called out on strikes. He thought it was low. Second strikeout by Flande.
Just working the outer half right there. You see the slider on the black. Pretty good pitch.
Yeah. It definitely had a lot of the plate. I think Roger might have hoped it was low.
And see Blanco bunt anyways. Push one to the right side.
He'll bounce it over the mound, and this could be interesting. On the charge, Simmons plays it well, plays it easily, 2 outs. It'll be Steve Lombardozzi now with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th.
Pretty good play by Simmons. They talk about what a great glove he has. This is not an easy play. It made it look very, very easy. Will throw on the run, something on it. Lombardozzi does have a home run this spring, and it was from the right side off CC Sabathia.
That was a great line by Mark DeRosa. Got to get up at 7:30 in the morning, get on the bus for 2.5 hours and face CC Sabathia. Thanks a lot. And now the count is 0-2. We don't know yet if we're one strike away from the end of this game or if there might be a 10th inning. We'll find out and let you know as soon as we can find out. Nobody throwing, huh? That may indicate that this is it. Not sure they would bring Ryan Perry out for another inning. So the fact that Sean Burnett is not throwing indicates this will be a 9-inning game. 1-2 pitch. Lombardozzi lifts one to right center. Ball is caught. And we're going to wait and see what the deal is here. 1-1 game. The umpires are not leaving the field. So we shall take a break and let you know what's happening. Looks like there will be a 10th inning. Well, Ryan Perry has gone back out to the mound. It'll be one more inning here in Vieira, it appears, with the Nationals and the Braves tied 1-1. I'm a little surprised that they're doing this because it's not like the Nats are bringing in a new pitcher for the 10th. Perry has already gotten his work in, but he evidently will work one more inning. We did not see Sean Burnett, who was the last man on the list, warming up. For the Braves, it'll be the catcher, Jose Yepes, to lead off here in the 10th.
You're having fun with some spring training names today.
Well, I can't wait to see Tyler Pasternicki, who's on deck. There he is.
Braves have some good names.
That ball is rocked into right. So a walk and 2 hits now given up by Ryan Perry, and the Braves have their leadoff man aboard here in the top of the 10th.
This should be a bunting situation for Pasternicki.
This guy can hit. .299 at AA Mississippi, .365 in 27 games at AAA Gwinnett to wrap up his season. Total of 7 homers and 47 RBIs. He's a Bradenton, Florida prospect. With the runner going, lays down the bunt, it goes foul. And Tracy going to grab it before it comes back fair.
Yeah.
It can go foul and come back if it hits the lip of that grass. And I'm sure Terry Pendleton was telling the hitter to stay close to first base in case the Nats had a mental lapse there and let that ball come back.
It was a nice job of running by Pastor Nicky. A lot of times you bunt the ball foul, you see guys just stop. He went all the way through the bag, and if that came back fair, as it got by Trace, he got first and second, nobody out.
Runner going again. Breaking ball, bunted foul, strike 2.
See, we talked about it earlier in the game, how important bunting is in close baseball games. How you can help yourself out as a pitcher. John Lannon did a great job today of sacrifice bunting. Look at Pastor Nicky right there. Looks like he's not real comfortable.
That bat was slanting back toward foul territory, wasn't it?
Yeah, we talked about catching the ball with the bat like it's a glove. You saw him jab at it right there. Number one, it wasn't a strike. And when you're sacrifice bunting, the first thing you have to do is bunt strikes. And the second thing you have to do is be soft with the bat and just get the ball on the ground.
Runner not going. That's a breaking ball, and that'll get the runner to second base.
And that's how quick an at-bat can change for a young baseball player. Doesn't get the first 2 bunts down. Runner advances on a wild pitch. Now, with 2 strikes, a little tougher. Pastor Nicky has to think about getting the runner to third base any way he can, even with 2 strikes, especially in extra innings. And I'll stop adding on.
Christian Betancourt, he of multiple letters, will be the pinch runner here.
And if you're Perry right here, you're trying to throw something on the inner half of the plate to where Pastor Nicky can't get the barrel out and move the runner, especially with 2 strikes. Hard in.
One ball and 2 strikes, nobody out, top of the 10th, 1-1 game. There he goes, up and in. Looked like that ball might have been fouled right off the top of Maldonado's helmet and then way up into the seats. One-two delivery, breaking ball outside. That ball is hit well to right field. First and third for the Braves and nobody out. Tie game scenario may be academic the way this thing's going suddenly. 3 of the last 4 Atlanta batters with singles, all to right field off Perry. Andrelton Simmons, who's gone all the way with a base hit and hit by a pitch, 1 for 3, will be the batter.
How many times do you see a guy not get the sacrifice bunt down and end up getting a base hit? And I'll tell you what, Betancourt off second base right there took off like it was a base hit all the way. If Brett Carroll comes in and catches that ball, it's a double play.
Yeah, I saw Brett raise his glove, at least to deke the runner a little bit. He knew he couldn't catch it. But the runner's advanced. It's first and third, and here's Simmons. Big swing and a breaking ball for strike 1.
Paul Maurer took that one off the shin, maybe the foot. Walk out there and hand Perry the baseball and buy himself a little bit of time, but he got a little ricochet piece and he was not happy. Probably not happy to begin with that he's umping an extra inning.
Yeah, I did a spring training game once down in Jupiter, and Renee Latchman, who I'm sure you know, he umpired the 10th inning. The umpires left the field.
Never seen that.
And a coach, and of course it didn't count. They called the game a tie, but they got the pitchers the work they wanted. In this case, now it'll be interesting with the umpire sticking around. Does it go down as an official 10-inning game or a 1-1 tie after 9? I guess we'll find out later.
That's the first thing I'm going to do tomorrow morning when I open the paper. I'm going to check and see.
Thanks for your sense of urgency.
and my support to your point.
You'll be dying to know. I'd say if the Braves take the lead, we call it a tie. 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss as Perry drops that one down and away from the right-hander for the first out. That's his first strikeout.
Yeah, pretty good slider right here from Perry. Simmons can't hold up, chases it.
Good pitch.
Trying to win the baseball game, thinking about the game-winning RBI, and just goes out of the strike zone. And this is where everybody for the Nationals has to be on squeeze alert.
Yeah. A guy who's almost impossible to double up unless he hit a one-hopper at Espinosa or Desmond or Blanco. Not going to be hit that hard, and Espinosa misses it. A run scores. Another runner goes to third. And then the hitter ends up at second. Carroll went for the runner at third, missed the cutoff man. And everything goes wrong for the Nats on that play. Don't know if Danny was trying to hurry to come home or to start a double play.
Well, I think that's where the problem was. Got caught in between. And as an infielder right here, you know, at first Danny Espinosa's thinking, I'm going to turn two. And then he realizes the speed of the runner and maybe the speed of the baseball. And it looked like he thought home first, and then I'm going to turn it second. Tried to back up, got the in-between hop, and everybody's safe.
Nats' second error of the day. They'll give an RBI to Constanza because you cannot assume the double play. And now the Braves have runners at second and third with one out for David Rome, who came into pinch run. Last inning, scored the tying run.
I think the problem with that play from the get-go is Davey Johnson had his infield playing halfway. And what does that mean? Well, if you get a ball hit hard enough to you, you turn a double play. If the ball's not hit hard, you go home. It's called kind of an in-between double play depth. And as an infielder, you're not used to playing there. Yeah. You're standing in a spot where you never stand before. So in Danny Espinosa's defense, he got the in-between hop because where they set up. It's a play you work on a lot in spring training. Okay, I'm going to play even more shallow than normal double play depth. If the ball's hit crisply to me, I flip it to my shortstop, return two, we're out of the inning. If it's hit slowly, I got to make a decision to go home. But all that being said, you're standing in a spot where you're not used to standing. And that's a big difference for an infielder. You know, you're used to on the back on the grass or a little bit up for double play depth, or all the way in on the grass if you're going to go infield in, but you're never used to kind of playing in that no man's land. And that's where Espinosa started that play at, in no man's land.
And they're not playing there right now. They are definitely in for the play at the plate.
And this is what I'm talking about, the depth. That's in between. That's shallower than double play depth, but deeper than where you'd stand on an infield in. You see, he started no man's land, and that ball was hit in between hop. Tough play all the way around.
Yeah, a lot of top spin on that ball. 1-2 pitch. Here he tried to jam in with a fastball. So the Braves lead 2-1 here in the 10th.
Thank you.
Out to left center, backing up Lombardozzi. Tagging at third is Pasternicki, and Atlanta leads 3-1. Pinch hitter here will be Ernesto Mejia for Freddie Freeman. Breaking ball by Perry. And another breaking ball, this one over but low. In the bottom of the 10th, the Nats have the top of the order, which right now is Desmond, Espinosa, and Maldonado. Mark DeRosa was on the list as available today. Has not appeared. Down to third for Blanco. And the Braves will score 2 in the 10th. And we go bottom 10. Atlanta up by a couple. On to the bottom of the 10th. Well, I guess for the Nats, literally it's 2 to tie and 3 to win. They'll face left-hander Jose Lugo, who will take over for the Braves here. And as mentioned, the Nats will have Desmond, Espinosa, and Maldonado in the bottom of the 10th. '27-year-old left-hander Lugo. Non-roster guy in the spring for the Braves. Ian Desmond has had a good day. Been on base 3 times, a walk, a single, a double.
Probably didn't think he was going to have another at-bat today, but another chance to work on stuff. Why
not? He's had 4 very good at-bats today. Only out he made was a line drive right at the right fielder back in the first inning. He will bunt. It's staying on the grass. Tough play for the pitcher. Base hit Ian Desmond, and he's 3 for 4.
And that's something that I wouldn't mind seeing him do more of during the season. Great job right there. So how about 5 good at-bats today from Ian Desmond?
Yes, sir.
Little base hit bunt, his 3rd hit of the day. On base 4 times now. It's such a weapon that nobody uses anymore. You see how everybody panics when somebody lays down a good bunt. We see it every night. Well, not every night because people don't do it, but when we do see it, especially a guy with speed, you get the ball on the ground, everybody freaks out, even at the highest level with the best defenders.
Desmond goes from 216 to 269 with 3 hits today. Espinosa, batting right-handed, takes a generous strike call from Paul Nart on the outside edge, or somewhere thereabouts. Betancourt, by the way, stays in the game and catches for the Braves. Danny Espinosa 0 for 4 today, but he's lined out hard twice on the infield. He's hit the ball on the button 3 times out of his 4 ABs.
And for me, and I don't know if Danny Espinosa would agree with me, it's a perfect spring training game. Get your approach right, hit the ball hard, and if you're going to go 0 for 4 with 4 lineouts or 4 hard hit balls, do it in spring. Get that part out of your system.
Swing and a miss on a pitch down and diving for the first out.
Next up, your catcher, number 64, Carlos Maldonado.
Carlos Maldonado came into the ball game in the 7th inning to catch, and he struck out swinging leading off the 8th. Maldonado this spring, 3 hits, 10 at-bats. A homer, 3 RBIs. Fastball up. 3-0. Brett Carroll on deck. Nats cleanup hitter at the moment. And Maldonado takes it way outside. 2 on, 1 out.
A good job right there of bringing the tying run to the plate. Or the winning run, excuse me.
Well, Brett Carroll had a base hit last time up. He went opposite field. And on the spring, he is 9 for 34 with an RBI. A lot to like about this guy. Good defensively, good arm. Maybe seen him gun out guys on the bases here in the spring.
And a walk-off tater would look good on the resume for making the squad.
Yes, it would. Chad Tracy on deck, only 1 out here in the 10th. He goes up hacking off the gear of Betancourt. Crowd of 4,891 getting their money's worth today.
Bring him home. Get the lead. Let's go.
And right now, Lugo having a hard time getting that fastball near the outside corner. And his work rate not exactly showing any urgency here. And he spins that breaking ball way outside. Counts even, 2-2. And Brett Carroll not jumping out at anything. He wants this guy to have to throw him at least 3 strikes in this at bat. As mentioned, Chad Tracy, left-hander on deck. Nats down by 2, 2 on, 1 out, bottom 10. Well hit left field. That ball's on the ground and the bases are loaded. Brett Carroll 2 for 2 today.
And all the guys trying to make the squad have had a fantastic day for the Nationals.
And here's one more coming up. He has 2 hits.
2-strike approach once again. Little slider down and in. Nice piece of hitting right there. Roger McDowell going to go out to the mound. Tighten up his young lefty.
Nats have out-hit the Braves now 8-7. Nationals didn't have a hit till the 4th inning of this game, and the Braves did not have a hit from the 5th until the 10th. Actually, the 9th inning, when they tied the game. Tying runs at second base. Winning run first. Tracy takes a breaking ball. He tried to wait on that thing. Tough when that left-hander throws it right at your hip. There's our base-running bunch. Desmond, bunt hit. Maldonado a walk, and then Carroll a solid single to left.
Don't want to put too much pressure on Chad Tracy, but a base hit right here would go a long way. He's already had a nice day, a couple of hits, barreled up the ball twice, had the first hit of the ball game. But this becomes huge when you're talking about making a ball club.
Into left. Not that deep. Desmond can fly. They don't want to take a chance on putting the tying run at third base. Although he did sort of miss the cutoff man there. I just thought Sutton was going to hit the cutoff man and make sure that other runner stayed at second. Now, look at this. Perry is going to hit here. The Nationals must be out of players. Mark DeRosa was listed as an extra man, but it's going to be Perry, the hitter.
But he's on the 14th hole right now, so.
Wow.
That just goes to show you, folks, if you're worried about wins and losses in spring training, don't be. That being said, he'll probably throw out a base hit to right. This might be a don't even swing at bat. How about that? Don't get hurt. Hope he throws you 4 before he throws you 3. Yeah, we got statue stance going for sure.
1 ball, 1 strike.
If that was the case and I was pitching, I couldn't throw a strike to save my life. If I knew the other pitcher was not going to swing, I would throw 4 balls immediately.
He does swing. High chopper, first base, hits foul. So requiring Ernesto Mejia to go after it, strike 2.
So that was the ambush of all ambushes. Stands there twice, looks like, hey, he's not swinging, you don't want to get hurt. Takes a pretty good hack on that one away.
Nats have used all the players that were listed on their lineup card in the clubhouse this morning, except for Mark DeRosa. He probably got all of his work done and was sent home. 1-2 with 2 outs now in a 3-2 game here in the 10th.
A pretty good day all the way around for the Nationals. Obviously, the score isn't where they wanted, but John Lanham with a nice start today. Ian Desmond with a nice day. Danny Espinosa hit the ball hard. Chad Tracy with a couple of knocks. Jason Michaels, a good job with 2 strikes, getting a runner in. Brett Carroll off the bench with a couple of base hits. So a lot of positives to take away from today's game. Chad Durbin, nice job following up Lanham.
Ball 2, up and away.
And really, when it comes down to it in spring training, that's all you're looking for, positives. What can you take away from this game as a manager as you get closer to opening day?
Look at Perry hanging tough. So if he goes to 3-2 here, that strike zone is going to look like a shoebox. And a small one at that to this pitcher, who's already had some control issues. Inside corner, game is over. And the Braves hold on to win it over the Nats, 3-2 in 10 innings. For FP, I'm Bob Carpenter. Final score, Atlanta 3, Nationals 2. Hope you can join us Friday, March 30th, when the Nats host the Marlins, the Miami Marlins, at 6 p.m. This has been a presentation of Masson. Hope you enjoyed a full day of baseball. We'll see you a week from Friday.